All right, ladies and gents, welcome. We've got the third quarterfinal in Warlords 2, and the starting map is Haboob, so things could get pretty crazy. So pay attention here. I could see players trying to steal each other's resources. It's a 9-villager start in this tournament as well, which definitely escalates things a little bit. We've got Tato in the red, Tato playing as the Koreans, and then Sato playing as the Mayans. And when I polled people before this, many people felt like Tato's the clear favorite. I can't heavily disagree with that, but I just want to remind people Sato's been getting better and better. Biggest playstyle can beat most across the scene. And Sato lost his first 2 sets in the group stage. Had to win 3 sets straight in group stage to even get to this point. And he did that against some big names. So, I mean, we've got like the King of France versus the King of Spain. It should be fantastic stuff here. And we'll see what Tato's creativity is going to be like today. And that's going to be the big thing. I think if Tato can have that win or 2 throughout this series, which leaves us being like, man, only Tato. Wow, so creative. Those types of thoughts. If that happens, Tato's going to win the series maybe 4-1, 4-2. Occasionally with Tato, he's wildly talented, right? And perhaps he's tried to be a little bit too fancy and a little bit too creative. And then you say, ooh, maybe he didn't need to try that. And if that happens, I think Sato has a chance. So, Koreans, the choice for Tato, a civilization that I wouldn't have really expected here, but it was a later draft from Tato, so he's saving some of his civilizations for the other maps. And I could see in an archer matchup, Koreans doing very nicely here. Tato is going to chop the wood on the back, and then Sato is currently chopping this wood on the right-hand side. Players are really close together. In the middle there, ooh, has this pyramid always been partially destroyed? Last I looked at this map, it was a full pyramid. What hooligans got to it? Were there grave robbers? What happened? I think that's a new feature. Anyways, this area is an area that players often wall. So you could see Sato naturally building an archer range here maybe. A couple walls, a couple more walls, and then suddenly that's blocked off. But you should know where the opponent's TC is if you're Tato, and he's able to run right by it. And players just trying to feel out the series here. But I definitely, again, just back to the Koreans because you get the armor upgrades for free. I do feel like if you're going Archer v Archer, having Koreans is actually quite nice. Their archers are also a bit cheaper, right? Any of their army that costs wood is a bit discounted. Now, where it becomes a problem against the Mayans would be if there's eagles that come into the mix later on. And that'll be something that Sato will surely do. But got pretty much everything out of the way here, I wanted to say. And should be... This might be the least strategic map and the most performance-based map. Maybe not the most performance-based map. That's not the best way to say it, but I think this might be the least strategic map of the whole series. Pretty clear-cut, pretty obvious on what players should be shooting for. Small reminder, though, you cannot wall here, guys. On the little stone line. So you not being able to wall there is a factor the players need to consider. That is one of 2 reasons why Sato took this wood. I think this wood line's actually just closer. And I don't think he considers it to be more exposed either because he's planning on getting the walls down. But Tato here to start the series, and he wants to block off this wall, and he's got to bring a spearman in here as well. And Sato gets these palisades down nicely. Very well played from Sato. Tato's still making him work and still bringing the archer, and this archer's here awfully quick. Here, though, it looks like Sato just temporarily attacks Tato on the gold. Tato with a lot of his focus on the front right now. Sato making an eagle, making a skirmisher. That's his plan. Tato does not realize there's an idol there. This is a lot of stuff happening right now. But remember, Mayans start with the extra villager. That is consistent here on the 9-villager start, so they started with 10. And so the resources still last longer, and Mayans are definitely the better economic civ. The only eco bonus that the Koreans have is stone mining a bit faster, which does not feel hugely helpful for the other aspects of the game. Like the aggression from Tato, and Tato close to killing a villager here. We'll see if he wants to commit for it. And he's going to commit for it, and doink! Got it. And actually, Scout didn't take any damage from the TC as well, and again, you look at creativity when you think about a player like Tato, but he is really good with controlling the game. Pushing in, controlling the game. And now, at this point, and what I mean by controlling the game is Sato's going to react, and then Tato could, in theory, have a good position going forward here. So the Spearman, I think, was just for Tato to have a couple extra units to fight with. Obviously, you know, you're not going to do that much. You're not going to do any bonus damage with Spearman against a civilization that can't make horsemen, but it made sense from Tato because he could produce out of 2 buildings at the start. Now he's got 2 archer ranges, though, so now he can produce out of those. And Tato killed that 1 villager, but the vill count is now even. So Tato had to work pretty hard for that. Lion has something to say about Tato being here. And Lion's not actually dead. That's really annoying. And Sato's going to find some good pickoffs. Nice job from Sato. He made it look a lot easier than it really is there to track this down. I feel like a lot of players miss out on that. And now you're not really worried about the Spearman. That is true. I think the Spearmen have like a little bonus against Eagles. It's not enough where if someone's going Eagles, the suggestion should be to make Spearmen, but there is some level of extra oomph to it, you know? 2 ranges, mainly skirmishers from Tato, but he has to mix in an archer or 2 because he needs more firepower against those Eagles. And honestly, I'm feeling right now like Sato should be okay, especially since he's got most of this area walled up. He's got 5 Eagles already. That's my concern. It's like Sato's barracks has been producing nonstop, it feels like. 80% of the time this barracks has been producing. And that barracks was up, you know, at a stage where it was simply just the prerequisite for the archer range. 45 population for both. Micro going to matter a whole lot, and that's before we even talk about the eco aspect, and that seems pretty close as well. I'm loving the farming eco here for Sato. Obviously, he's under a lot more pressure. Something goes wrong for him, he doesn't have many areas to fall back to. But the execution has been insane from him. And the armor upgrade was free for Tato. Now, armor upgrade's actually very unhelpful. I think it doesn't help at all in a skirm v skirm battle in feudal. But it is still something if there's ever any archers or eagles or something that engages, that extra armor is not going to hurt. See how Tato plays? Fully open, full focus, full control here. I don't think we're going to see Tato's famous feudal void, where he stays in feudal age. I think he was definitely thinking about castle age, but this is a map where you're so close, right? So it makes sense. Try and hold advantages in feudal, get to castle age faster, and then you could destroy. As Sato going to use the market, sells all of his stone, which means he cannot tower now. But this is a common approach we see these days in maps where players are very close. Will he regret that? He's going to click up to castle age soon. I'm worried about his eagle number. I know that like right now, it looks like his eagle number's fine, but I could see his eagles going down over time, and he might arrive to the next stage with less than 4 or 5 eagles. He's taking the engagement now. This is an engagement I actually think Tato will be fine with. He has to back away. Sato's trying to snipe the archers, but he wasn't really able to kill much there. He just killed 1 skirmisher. You look at the HP on some of these eagles, and they're pretty weak. But eagles do get much stronger in 2 minutes' time. 7 base attack will help a lot. And there's the second barracks coming up, too. And Sato's skirmishers might not be something he necessarily wants to upgrade. Man, Tato's got 7 vills in queue. So if he cancels some of that, maybe he will be able to click up to castle age as well. But he is not anywhere close to having the resources from what we can see. Now Tato's starting to make his way to the goal. And this is where you can't make a tower if you're Sato. Now where it gets interesting is it okay for Sato to lose like 5 vills here, chat? I think maybe. You lose 5 villagers to clear up this army? I think it's okay because you could, in theory, counterattack, right? I think Sato's done a decent enough job thus far. It's just like moments like this for Tato. Can he kill enough army? Can he get to that gold? Here Sato has found a pick off. Tato obviously doesn't want to lose his army either, but you know, he probably isn't expecting Sato to be up so quickly. That Mayan Eco and the use of the market here, lots of villagers on gold. This really helps the Frenchman here, but now you're starting to see the skirmishers separated there. Nice play. Let's see. Are these eagles enough? You get the extra attack. I'm not sure the armor's there yet, though. You need Eagle Warrior. And we'd said, like, is it worth it to lose villagers? to clear the army up. I'm not sure he's going to clear this army up at all right now. Tato's still on the way up. I guess the archer number is rather low, though. And Tato might want to fall back towards more army here. For now, the good news for Tato is he's buying himself some time. The bad news for him is he wasn't able to get any hits in on those villagers. And the eagle mass is growing. Could be a situation where if you're a different civ, you might consider going for supplies right now. And might consider man-at-arms against all-in eagles. Oh, God, Sato! Ooh, man, I mean, it feels a little unnecessary in many ways to build the Siege Workshop forward, but he is able to protect it, and that Siege Workshop is so close to Tato. Tato's going to lose all of his ranged units here, and now the army count is even, and it's going to be Siege and Eagles for Sato. Look at Tato. He's on this stone. Did Sato see that? He did see the mining camp. That mangonel is the most important thing right now. He's so on edge in terms of resources, he can't actually produce. He's so all in here. He does not have the eco. And Tato, worried about a mangonel on the TC, is just going to drop a tower there. Koreans do get guard tower for free in the next stage. And Tato walls up his wood line. He will need extra walls here. And Tato's going to drop a gold behind his base. So the guard tower defends the TC. The castle protects the golds. Crazy quick walls from Tato. What? That's ridiculous, man. He could have lost a couple villagers. Still could lose a couple villagers. I mean, we know the castle's going up. What a great job from both players this far in this series, though, right? Like, Sato kills his villager, so now it's 1-1 on the eco KD. But, like, Sato did a great job to stay alive against all that army. And Tato did a great job not to really be too worried by any of the eagles. The guard tower is enough there, I feel. And Tato's going to be making war wagons now, and you don't see war wagons too often in a standard type of game. You see them on Nomad. But war wagons, a really strong unit. They're very chunky, right? 150 HP. 9 base attack. Tato does not have the food for Bodcanero, though. So he's going to need that. Tato Scout's still active scouting the map. I wonder if Sato is going to shift into something that's away from an all-in now. Because it's arrived to a point where it doesn't feel like Sato can do too much damage. He'll see the tower, and he'll see the castle. The most vulnerable area for Tato is actually the wood, but it's not so vulnerable because it takes Sato a long time to loop around. Alright, so I think Tato's going to counterattack with these archers. Love it, right? You don't need the archers at home. They offer very little against the eagles. The war wagons, that's going to be your plan in defense at home. Getting these archers somewhere would be so valuable. Maybe into the wood line. Now, Sato sold his stone earlier. I think it'd be very realistic for him to buy the stone soon. And maybe think about building a second TC. Because again, I'm not seeing what he's going to accomplish otherwise. He does kill a villager there with the mangonel. He is looping around to the wood. And Bodcanero now coming in for Tato. Watch Tato scout here. So he's just sitting there. Obviously, he has a lot of other things to worry about. Once Bodkin's in, the wagons are doing a bit more damage, have a bit more range. Also applies to the tower and the castle. This is Sato's point of view. If I were Sato, I'd be feeling a little helpless right now. Like, where do I hit? Where do I go? Against Koreans of all civs, right? Not the civ you would have expected Tato to play here. Mayans are so good. But you haven't seen those archers in a bit, right? So there might be some paranoia. Normally, this is where I'd like to build outposts, but you don't have the stone if you're Sato to do that. And I think this is going to be all in one TC from Tato. He's even still on stone, so he's thinking about what was probably another castle. Even making a stable here, that's probably for the husbandry upgrade to make his wagons faster. See how Tato shifted his scout? And here's Sato. Oh, man. Tato does not see the villagers going there to build that TC. Ultimately, you just take the kills where you can get them. So if you can get to this gold and kill villagers, you'll do it. Tato's still sneaky. Sato still doesn't see it. This is bad to start off a series, but he doesn't know. No, not good. Not good. It felt bad when I said it. And here are the archers. They're on the gold, and it's been a long time for these archers to get here. Sato never sensed it. And, you know, maybe that just comes down to not having that control anymore, right? And now suddenly he's got to send his Eagles all the way home to deal with this because this is a threat. And the second Tato sees those Eagles, he knows his War Wagons can advance somewhere else. Tato's going to dive here with the archers to go kill villagers. He's going to kill one more. He's going to kill at least two more. Just depends on the micro. Might even be more than that. Gets those. Oh, man, great pickoffs from Tato. And getting the max value from the archers that you could have expected when up against Eagle Warriors. Wow, that was disgusting. And even wedges the archers in to maybe get one more there. Behind this, of course, there were further repercussions for Sato. He lost an eagle. Now the wagons are looping around. And guys, like, I say it a lot, right? Like, the best players, the second they're not going to take immediate damage, they will counterattack. We saw it a bit from Hera against Leary in the series yesterday, if you watched that. That was a good example of it. Like, Tatsu just knows, I could defend with a tower or two, and then I could go over to the other guy's base. Now, I don't know if he was expecting the Eagles to be here, but you're going to start to see these Eagles get taken out. And Koreans looking like a brilliant pick from Tato. How many times have we said it with Tato where he just has these picks? He has this way of playing which feels so unique to him. Tato even going for the light cav upgrade now because he's actually worried about monks. And monks could be a concern because the monks have 9 range. And if you convert a wagon, it's really hard to kill a wagon with range units. Sato's going to be frustrated there that monk did get a conversion for him. More wagons headed this way. I think we know what Tato's going to do. Head right back to the wood line. He continues to hit and run with these wagons. Finally, he loses one. And Sato's just stuck on Eagle and Monk at this point and has to hope that it'll do the job. Good micro from Tato. I didn't catch if he got Husbandry, to be honest with you. Looking at the speed, I don't know what the base speed of wagons is. I'm going to assume he did get Husbandry, though. And if Tato just loops in here, he could find more kills on that wood line. He did get it. Got it. Thank you. I mean, the Eagles are doing a bad job. They're still getting some clear-ups. It's also way easier to control Eagles than it is wagons because you just patrol them in. Tato also going to lose the market, which he does need for eco balance. And Tato's had to drop a lot of defensive towers, which takes him further from another castle. So Sato's done a good job. It's been a great game. And obviously there's been positives for Tato, but I'm liking the eco more and more for Sato. And with these all in place, you're hoping for a little bit more, I think, if you're Tato. Certainly had enough villager kills, but I will show Res Collected here. Res Collected is better for Sato and better in the resources you're normally looking at, which is going to be food and gold. Now, you don't need food quite as much if you're Tato because you're not spending food, but you still need food for villagers and then for light cav in this case, right? Oh, man, Sato just killed some of his own Eagles. Oh, no. Oh, no. This army is extremely vulnerable. Tato's 3 light cav could clear all of that up right now. And Tato really busy back here, as is Sato. And Tato is going to send the light cav out. Oh, you're never expecting light cav here. Oh, man, Sato noticed. He might actually convert one, but they don't have Sanctity. And, oh, who said monks are OP? 400 gold down the drain. The siege could go down as well. And Tato with the beautiful clear up. Again, you expect the war wagons. You maybe expect husbandry. You never expect light cav from Koreans. Koreans have some of the worst cav ever, but light cav, not the craziest investment ever for what it does. And now Tatos feels comfortable enough to maybe move forward. And, Tato's got to be careful. Villagers taking a little stroll towards more Eagles here. Remember, Sato's on 2 TCs. So, Sato does have the greater economy right now. This castle from Tato really needs to be effective. And Tato also doesn't have the resources for ballistic. Well, he does now. He's going to get ballistics here in a second. But you can see he's concerned. He's actually backing up with the castle. I think this is not bad for Sato. And Tato doesn't want to just lose. He doesn't want to lose the castle, which is why he's doing this. But the overall positioning, not something that Sato's going to complain about. And Mayans, man, doesn't matter what you throw at them. It always feels like they've got a chance. And the war wagons aren't looking too good now. And the villagers from Tato got trapped. And Tato's KD is fantastic, but it's so expensive to make what he's making here. Another monk's going to go down. Castle still has not been cleared up, though. Sorry, the area around the castle still has not been cleared up. And Sato's just making more and more eagles. I don't know if this castle goes up without more villager losses here. Mangonel and Monk going to combine, and then the eagles will go in, I'm sure. They'll have full castle age upgrades. Tatsu just wants the other castle. The castle is now... It's not even really protection. He's not using it for protection. He's using it as a production building for more war wagons. Guys, prediction. We're going to see Tato's... Okay, the prediction... How do I word this? I think Tato's going to have 40 war wagons in Castle Age at one point, with no sign of Imp being anywhere close. It's very rare. But I don't see it going any other direction. And I think that Sato's just going to have to continue to make eagles. I wonder if Elite Skirm is worth it here. Like... I think skirms do bonus damage, but the wagons are so tanky. Then Koreans could add mangonels. Maybe not. Like, now that Tato has 2 castles, I'm expecting non-stop wagon production. I'd like to see Sato. Obviously, you have to fight with the main groups. But maybe a random unit or 2. I don't know. It's so tricky. I was going to say a random unit or 2 to the wood line. You can't expect to find any damage against Tato right now. Tato's got too much stuff going on for him right now. These war wagons want the mangonel very badly, but they don't want to give up a friend. And the war wagons are now over here. Look at the wagon stack. They can kind of clump up. Now, I'm not sure. The pathing here is pretty brutal for Tato. He's got units going backwards before they go forwards. What is that? It's unfortunate that happens. It happens with on a lot on water as well. And it just depends on the patch, really. Like, they're going to say the pathing's improved every time. Some patches are better. Tato able to get a handle on the pathing now. To the hill now. Getting some hits. Population still close. Eco count actually very close. And, you know, we're going to see wagons win a fight again. When does Sato run out of gold? I'm actually concerned. This gold and this gold's not going to last him that much longer. He's got, he only has 1,400 gold there. Huh. So, like, geez. Oh, man, Sato. I don't know about this one, pal. I mean, maybe this gold would have been more reasonable. He is sending his army over here. He doesn't see anything, so maybe he assumes Tato's going middle. He's got to protect this TC. And Tato's got enough stone for another castle now, so he might be thinking about a target. It would feel more natural to drop the castle forward, though, instead of to the side. Like, this would be a sick castle for Tato. And Sato holds again. It's an impressive job. Like, I said it before, Sato's playing at an amazing level. Well, don't think many players would have been able to hold against these wagons, but... Now you have to defend this if you're Sato. Oh, geez. And he's on his way to the Imperial Age. Oh, man. Does that castle, if it goes up, will that castle range the TC? Sato is now looking for the wagons. Where are you? I'm here to defend. I've got monks to convert, mangonels to hit, eagles as well. Sato may be a little uneasy. We're looking at his point of view right now. He does have this gold, right? Such a big deal. Elite Eagle Warrior upgrade would be wild. Tato, this castle's got to do immediate damage to Sato's eco. Again, I don't think that Tato is expecting beautiful... Look at this quick wall. House, and then mining camp, which he's going to be able to use. I really don't think that he's expecting Sato to be able to go up to the Imperial Age here. Sato's got an army here of eagles. Could deny Tato's TC. Meanwhile, the castle for Tato will go up. Sato's using his whole economy to build his. Sato's also losing villagers here. But Tato's TC was completely denied, which is a big deal. Tato's castle goes up. Sato now has a castle, though, to be able to make trebuchets in the next stage as well. And Tato going to hope to take whatever he can of that stone and push wherever he can as well. Sato will likely make it to the Imperial Age. This is a ridiculous game, guys. The level's so high from both. Tato is not going to be finished with castles. Can you imagine if Sato went for use this for the Imp TC because he thought this one could be pressured? Which is what a lot of players do. He wouldn't make it to Imp. Tato might see the repairs there and think, oh, he might be on the way to Imp in this TC. This could be amazing for me. Tato will take the TC down. Doesn't kill as many villas as he would have wanted there. How good are War Wagons against Elite Eagles? Can Sito get to Elite Eagle? These are the things going through my mind right now. Of his 18 Eagles, 6 are going to go down here, and then his other Eagles are on the other side of the map at Tato's base. Tato's got 3 castles to make wagons now. 3. Did complete the TC, of course. Is starting to go this way. Oh, boy. Hard to micro this, actually. Could go either way. Tato notices it, though. He's going to go for the monks first, and then the knight can take the mangoes. Super well played from Tato, because Sito is worried about this. And Sito has just now got an Elite Eagle Warrior. It's not cheap, guys. It's like 800 food, 500 gold. And it makes them much stronger against ranged units, but these are still ranged units that do 11 damage in Castle Age. Tato is a 20 villager lead, but now he's up against Elite Eagles, and this is it for Sito. Like, Sito doesn't have gold access right now. He needs this to work. He's selling wood to get some gold in return, but the wagons are too strong. And Tato's economy is good enough behind this to make more wagons, and even though Sito made 135 Eagles in this game, the war wagons do the job. Honestly, I said this a lot yesterday in the series between Yo and Jordan and the other quarterfinal. Definitely watch that if you haven't. I just a great game, and one where I honestly can't even be too critical of Sito. There are times where I say, if only the player could have done this, only the player could have done that. Both players played amazing here. Tato gets the win. And a very Tato-esque victory as well, right? A little bit more of a unique style. A civilization you don't see many other players playing with. It breaks the civilization that is known to get victories all the time. And, of course, you know, Mayans, I think we saw their strengths there, but seriously, just had some big issues dealing with those wagons. Big, chunky ranged unit with a lot of attack. It's not cheap to make them. You do have to make them out of a castle. So it is balanced in that aspect, but such a sick job from Tato there. And I think for Sito, what he would have wanted was a little bit more damage before Tato's castle went up. Maybe if he didn't have to fall back as much in feudal, then Tato's castle would be more desperate. Also, I want to say this. The majority of players are not going to do what Tato does here. I'm going to tell you what, like, 90% of the top 100 players do here, okay? They'd never build this tower. They're 14 seconds away from Castle Age. They try and drop the castle to protect their TC. They drop the castle to protect their TC because that's what everybody does. There's a risk then the Mangonel denies it, but they're okay with that risk because they just want to protect their TC. Then they make wagons. Tato goes guard, he goes tower, and then he drops the castle back here. And the castle being back here was actually huge because it then defended his gold. Because otherwise, you defend your TC with this, and you go tower here, it doesn't make as much sense. So that was so smart. I just can't get over Tato sometimes. Such a big fan of the player, but big fan of Sito as well. I'm sure he'll respond. Sito collected more food and more gold. He collected 6,000 more gold. And he lost the game. Crazy. And so much for the Korean eco bonus of mining stone faster not paying off, huh? I think I said that in Dark Age. 3,500 stone collected for Tato. All right, folks, game number 2. Okay, so 9 villagers start on Nomad, does some crazy things. And Tato's going to TC here, and Sito's going to TC here. Oh, my goodness, man. Oh, my goodness. They are next-door neighbors here. And I mentioned yesterday that on a 9 villager start, it becomes so much easier for them to locate things because there's more villagers moving around. So already, you could see Sito. He actually is TCing here not knowing. What? I don't think he knew the boar or the gold was here. What a lucky boy. And the relic. And he's Lithuanians. Oh, shoot. I got to switch colors. I'm sorry. So Sito's in the blue now. We're trying to keep it consistent with the flags. Tato's in the red. But yeah, I feel like the TC is very good for Sito. Sito's able to locate Tato's TC, so he knows about that. Now knows about the gold, the boar. And as his dock over on this side. Tato, he is docked not so far away. Both players have gone for 2 villagers on the dock and the shorefish, though, which is an approach I've noticed some players are doing. Wouldn't see that in a standard Nomad start. And Tato has a boar underneath his TC. And Tato, for all the luck that Sito received, has not received that himself here. Because look what he does not see. He does not see that stone. And there's no Scald on Nomad, right? He also is extremely far away from golds. This is going to be really tough for Tato. He can't see this gold. And this gold, he may never scout. I think Tato's going to scout all of this area and never find a gold. And we'll see if he even finds, like, the boars, right? Like, he needs the boars. Mongols have the hunt bonus. The Lithuanians starting with a bit of extra food. Having that boar, having that gold. Like, this might be a little extreme, but I feel like this is the dream scenario for Sito to be able to respond in the series. Everything that could go right for you in terms of a Nomad start and all the luck that's involved has gone right for Sito here. And still, Tato, this is just brutal. Doesn't see this boar. The pond here kind of blocks off more boars. He's bringing a boar from the dock right now. He's got to use quick walls to bring in a boar from the south. But dude, I would never try this myself because I don't have the skills to do what Tato's doing here. Oh. Okay. Little worried for Tato. Okay, nice quick walls. Good stuff. Dude, I couldn't even dream of doing this properly. I would do the house trick, and I could probably do it that way. But the little palisade trick is something else, and Tato has to make sure this boar does not die to the TC and he gets the food. He needed that. He really needed that. Still can't see this boar, still can't see this stone. It's crazy. Did see this gold, though. And I didn't think about that as a possibility. Now, he did locate that Sito is probably here with the dock because he lost a sheep here. So that's nice. Sito knows that Tato is likely docked here because he lost a sheep around the house. You're not just going to see a random house on the shoreline for any other reason. So we might even see Sito try and Vil fight this. He does have 2 Vils. This is ultimately probably for a second dock. Sito is probably just going to have 1 or 2 villagers on the gold underneath the TC. The rest on wood. And no, never mind. He's going to just place the second dock here. A little close together, but there's 2 fish right there. It'd be completely fine. Tato, I think, is also going to go for some type of water approach, but he has the mining camp. And he has to walk over there. That's a pretty big deal. That's wood savings for Sito to not have to do that. Again, they are right next to each other. I think they both pretty well aware of that. Tato saw Sito run past his TC. He doesn't know exactly where Sito's TC is, though. And Tato has more eco at the moment, but that is also down to the fact that he's later to feudal age, so things should be a bit closer. Actually, they should be dead even in the next age. Sito making a second dock, and Sito will be making ships here. Okay, so in order for me to like the Mongols' position from here, it comes down to how much hunt Tato is able to secure for himself. And at the moment, he's been able to find that boar, which is really nice. There's this as well. That's about it. There is a boar down there, but that seems like a long journey. It's still something. Here's Sito's point of view. Now, he knew exactly where Tato's TC was. And he actually is choosing to build a tower next to the house. Now, my instincts tell me that Tato could just delete this house and rush this tower down later. Tato will also see the house. But it is a nice little area for Sito to control. Obviously, it controls a decent amount of the wood here. But Tato could still take wood here and still take wood here, so it's fine. Ooh, Sito had a barracks and added a spearman, and the spearman scouts the opponent's barracks, so that's kind of fun. And here comes Sito. Expected there to be fish here. He's not seeing anything right now. And he's probably like, what? But it is also common to sometimes see that secondary dock. And that could be where the fish are hiding. So Sito a little uncertain right now. The fires are going to encounter each other. And Tato finished his boar already. That's the Mongol hunt for you. Sito doesn't have his repair villagers close to this like Tato does, though. Tato will, for now, keep his fishing ships alive. He does have 1 more. Archer range for Sito. Makes sense. You're on wood, you're on gold for the ships. Making some archers would suit Sito here. And Sato backs up to repair. He doesn't overextend there. And this might just be like an even water war until one of them hits a big demo in the choke point. Like a big demo here, bam, would be sick. I actually think that Sato should use the spear to kill the deer. Use the spear, kill the deer. Yeah, this is smart. And take the hunt away from Tato. This is huge. Great job for him to think about that. It's such a tiny detail. It's more of a caster detail, but now Tato doesn't have 280 food. That comes in really quickly for him. And both players are going to be going archers, and both players are going to be going with fires. Demo's queued up for Tato, and Sato has to be aware of that possibility here. This is Tato you're talking about, Sato. You just got to give up on any hope you have on winning water right now. Don't do it! Don't do it, Sato! What have you done? Oh, no. Oh, the ideal demo there for Tato, who's the best demo player in the game. Now, great job from Sato, we should say, to back up. But here comes another one. Here comes another one. They got land to worry about, right? But Tato's like, I know there's weak ships in there. I need it. I desire it so much. Boom! That's 180 HP of ships off of 6 ships. Someone do the average on that. It's not great, but Tato at least respects the demo, right? Because there's going to be a demo coming out from Sato as well. Now, you still have archers and skirms to worry about, so demos could land because players are distracted. And Tato snipes a ship and then backs away. Now, he's going to have fewer ranged units, but Sato doesn't see the golds, guys. Sato doesn't know where Tato's taking gold at the moment. That's actually huge. He should know that Tato has gold because Tato's making ships. So he might assume it's this area. That's probably what I would assume. Can you imagine if he saw that? Like, Tato hasn't towered it or anything. So Nomad giveth and Nomad taketh away here. And just waiting for Tato to land a demo again. Like, Sato is ship blocking it. That's not what you want against demos. And Tato's going to find his way through here. And Tato, as long as he micros properly, is going to be able to find a couple fishing ship kills on the back of it. Now, still has to defend here, and Sato has a lot of his focus there, already having fletching. As Sato doesn't lose a fishing ship, actually, but, boom! Tato hits again! But he does need to complete this blacksmith here. This is a pretty big deal. Overcomes Tato with the skirms and archers, though, and I think he has enough villagers to get down the blacksmith. How is Tato in a position to go up to Castle Age faster here? It's crazy. So well played from him. It's just that water aspect. Any of the hybrid maps, any of the maps that incorporate land and water, I think Tato's going to have the edge today. That said, I do think the situations are a bit deceiving. Like, yeah, Sato doesn't have as much food as Tato, but look at the amount on food for Sato. He's got 16. So there's a lot of villagers that are probably carrying deer, sitting on berries right now. And Tato doesn't have that. And that tower from Sato as well has been awkward for Tato. And Tato loses a villager there. So Sato actually hasn't lost eco. I know we want to get excited and be like, woo, you know, for the demos. But realistically, I think Sato's position might be superior here. And Tato realizes he's going to be spotted here with drop a tower. Now, thankfully for him, he wasn't spotted earlier when there were archers. So since it's just skirms, he could eventually complete this tower, but it still doesn't mean life's easy for him. And if this is a skirm war, Lithuanians have the superior skirms. They're faster. And you see Sato now with the crazy guts. He's going to actually try and Vil rush down this tower. I like the play. And more than anything, I like the lack of hesitation to it. Whether this is going to be good or not for Sato, he's making it happen as quickly as humanly possible. And we've got the boxing Vil mod on today. He's going to box down that tower. And now Tato has no gold. So like we said before, Tato hadn't killed any of Sato's economy. He's now lost 3 eco. It's going to get worse. These skirms should find another villager kill. A little sloppy there from Sato. Tato now has no access to gold. Sato's gold is underneath his own TC. And Sato's controlling the hill and everything as well. Now look at that. That is... Are you serious, Tato? Tato just ran through here with the archers. And now Sato's... No way Tato ran through there. That feels like a suicidal mission. Sato killing all of Tato's fish for the time being as well. That's a big deal. Tato needs counter damage. He's going to find it. How does that happen? That's crazy. Like, I thought all signs were pointing to Tato's demise here. And yet he gets through and kills 2 villagers. And now this army isn't hitting his base. Right? That army was just going to follow through this way. And Tato making Sato work for it here. And, I mean, Sato's got a 20 population lead here. This is pretty insane. He's got a villager lead. He's got 6 fishing ships now. Look how quick he was to adding fishing ships after he took control. Very well played. And he tracks down the archers. Very easy to do so with the Lithuanians. A big reason you pick them is because of the start. And I think I jinxed the poor guy, but he still should be able to find them. Here he finds an archer kill against Tato, and Tato's going to be adding scouts now. So res collected should be in favor of Sato. He's more collected of everything. And also the trades have been better for Sato, and Sato uses the market, and Sato clicks up here. And yeah, Tato won the first game, but I'd like to remind you, he took Tato all the way, or Sato took Tato all the way to the Imperial Age. And I mentioned earlier in the day, I think that I preferred the draft of Sato. Now, of course, that I'm not as creative as Tato. But things to think about. And I think Sato from here. I don't know if we have any Nomad experts in chat. I see Project Belgium's in chat. All right, Nomad experts in chat. But, I mean, this position is going to be very hard for Tato to break. Because once you've almost completely won water, you can have 10, 12, 13 fishing ships with new docks. That's your food eco. You don't really need the farms. Quick walls there from Sato. As the scouts are around for Tato. But, you know, a couple spearmen can be out there. A couple archers in the mix as well with the skirms. And Tato, he's on his way up. And he's got tons on stone. This is his plan. He wants a castle. Was able to also find some fishing ships here. Tato's been able to find ways to get damage where I didn't think it was possible. And both players have tons of villagers on stone. And Sato is the hill. I don't know who lives in these 2 houses. But they've just been given a foreclosure notice. Alright? Excuse me, you did not pay your bills. We will be taking your property in roughly 30 seconds. So make sure you move out because we will be destroying it on such a date. Yep. Yeah, feels so bad for him, you know? The economy's rough right now. Feels so bad for him. I really do. We don't know their situation, but their houses are gone now. Go live somewhere else, you fools. Castle's on the way up. And Tato's TC will go down to that castle. And Tato wants to build his own castle, but I don't know where he builds it. Wrong time to delete the walls. I think he wanted to YOLO to Sato's base. Yeah, that's exactly what he wanted to do. He wanted to build his castle on Sato's TC and deleted the walls only for the skirmishers to arrive. And Tato taps out here. Sato ties up the series, and what a great job there from Sato. Like I said, though, I mean, I really do feel like that everything that could have gone right for Sato in terms of the start here did. Gold Unbore underneath the TC. Tato's gold was miles away. Dock location, right next to each other. I think that's better for Lithuanians too. He still played it very well. He made it look very easy at times. He played at an amazing level. But I don't think Tato will be kicking himself too much there just due to some of those factors. That is, unfortunately, what happens when you're playing Nomad from time to time. And Lithuanians are I think, the superior Nomad Civ. Now, I love the castle from Sato. This is Nomad energy. There are too many players who don't play a lot of Nomad who don't have the Nomad energy to them. Which Nomad energy is like control hills, castle dropping on TCs. It's not your standard wait for knights type of map. So I like how he knew to delete the houses and drop the castle there. There are quite a few players that don't do those types of things. Still win games. But that's what Nomad's all about sometimes. So, GG, well played. And Tato actually collected more res here. But we know his TC would have gone down. Latus would have been out in the field. Sato was walled up as well. Sato played so nicely there. Fun series so far. Here we are, friends. So catching up to live time, of course. They're not too far in. And, ooh, Tato's going to be doing something funky here, perhaps. He could play standard, but he picked Persians first in this draft. Now, Sato also picked Persians, the way the draft works, so we could see Persians from him later on. But we've got Migration Game 3, a map that is delivered on all fronts, man. Like, usually, if there's a map and it's in one tournament and then the next tournament host decides to use the same map, I feel like it's very easy to get tired of it, right? But Migration has not been the case for me. Yes, we see similar things in every Migration game, but everything's slightly different, and it's so difficult to play. Every game can be so messy. There's so many different civs you can try. And now you throw in the 9 villager start into the equation, and I've just enjoyed it a whole lot here. So, you know, one of the strats that is kind of new, and we're seeing a little bit more, is a fast feudal into a forward dock on the opponent's side. And I think Persians are maybe the best at that. And I think that's what Tato's doing, because he would have queued up a fishing ship if he wasn't planning for an early transport. There's the transport here. Now, I just wonder how meta this is. How meta is it? Because when Hera played yesterday, he went like mid-feudal age on just 4 fishing ships, and he didn't go fast castle. And it actually gave him a better opportunity to defend from such a play. Whereas if you do go fast castle, which is 8 to 10 fishing ships behind everything, you're just going to get completely overrun by Navy. I don't know the exact timings on how many villagers and whatnot the build is. I know it's normally 1 fishing ship and then the transport, and then you bring 2 vills and the scout. And the idea is you disrupt the opponent's fishing economy while also adding your own fishing ships behind. I think another reason that this is really strong on this particular version of Migration is all the water buffalo. There are 12 buffalo, 16 buffalo in the middle of the map. That is 2,300 food. Actually, some of the buffalo I just clicked are the buffaloes underneath the TC. It's somehow counting the buffaloes underneath their TC. But still, like 2,200-ish food available just from scouting the middle, and you can transport them back home. Now, you're of course in the dark on a lot of this. You're assuming a lot of things. And because of the weird island shape in the middle, Tato is probably like, no, this is not good. This is not good. Show me water, please. Show me water. Please, show me water. Because he started to go this way with the scout. He didn't see it. He's going to see it here. Ends up being a really good dock location for Tato. And he's going to go double dock here. So it should be a good spot. Now, behind this, Sato isn't going for the standard fast castle. He's added 6 fishing ships. He's even adding the 7th. But his feudal time's going to be reasonable to be able to make fire galleys to possibly defend from this. So I think we've actually arrived to the point where players feel like it's too risky to go for the fast castle. The Persian docks work faster. They also have more HP. So a standard dock is 1,800 HP. And then a Persian dock has 3,600 HP. And that's not new, by the way. A fun story, since MBL was just here screaming at me, asking me to make him mod. I gotta bet a gifted sub to some random individual that MBL's not even here anymore to hear me talk. I think he showed up, asked for mod, and he's gone now. Aren't you, MBL? Yeah, he's freaking gone, man. He's freaking gone. Anyways, so, listen, I was casting with MBL like 3 years ago. Persians have always had this bonus, right? And he was like, what? They have more HP? Because I said it during my cast. MBL found out that that was a bonus because of our casting together. And fishing ships are starting to go down. So Tato opens with 2 galleys because it's more effective at killing fishing ships. And is going to add fires behind. This is pretty smart. Now, the downside, of course, is your navy becomes less effective after you kill the fishing ships. But if you're worried you're not going to have as many fishing ships, which was the case, I could see the argument for that. And behind this, Tato is adding fishing ships out of this one dock. And it'll just be that one dock. And now he's headed this way. Now, Tato didn't see... Well, no, he did see both docks. But I guess maybe he's expecting a third. And Sato's found a nice little spot for his fishing ships to sit. Oftentimes wonder if in moments like this, if you just got one fire over... Or, yeah, like 2 fires over to Tato's side right away. I'm still live, right? My power just flicked. I think we're good. I think backup battery has me. But if you do this right away against this play, it could completely ruin the approach from the guy who's trying to transport the buffalo and fish it home freely. All right. And I think Tato must know something's up because he doesn't see the numbers. That was a huge demo from Tato. But, yeah, he actually isn't producing anything at home, guys. And I think Sito could kill all these fishing ships from Tato. I think Sito's approach has been more than fine here. I mean, listen, when this strategy first came out, I was not convinced. And I've yet to see... I remember one game, I think, where the player who went for the forward dock approach won in this tournament. I think that was Viper against Leary. Byzantines versus Italians in group stage. But thus far, it looks like the defense is working for Sito, and this is the thing we're getting all antsy about for Tato here. We'll have to check Res Collected to see what Res Collected looks like, but look at Sito's resources. Sito's going to click up to Castle Age soon. Tato's got 5 on food. Let's quickly check the full resource profile. You can see it's completely fine for Sito here. And Tato going to spend his time repairing. Now, I think where it's awkward, and here comes the demo. That could be a nice demo for Sito because he can take out Tato's demo and hit a ship. That's nice. Where it gets awkward is... there's always the threat of the forward docks, and those docks might never go down because they're Persian docks. So I think with optimal play, forward docks, maybe not the best, but it's so easy to just run into a random demo, and then suddenly you're toast. Fires ran away from Sito, which is weird to me. He had 2. Interesting. I mean, Tato's going to be able to defend that now. I was expecting a little bit more aggression there from Sito, but maybe it's just a lot of focus here. Dude. You see what I mean? Like, there's not a lot of space to move around here, people. And Sito will add a dock from here, which will allow him to have an easier path over to Tato's side, maybe. And Sito is waiting until he gets his Castle Age upgrades on his ships. And demo comes in. Both players happy to trade 1-for-1 with the demo. Either player could complain about that. And Sito's going to make a transport ship. And he's making it from the back dock, I imagine, or one of these. Sorry for the dings, guys. You know the drill. It's a water map. Tato's got to be like, what? Now, it's kind of fun is, if Tato is later to Castle Age, but denies any potential TCs from Sito with a couple scouts, it's probably still fine here. Because the middle is so important. Tato still worried about those 2 fires that are just sitting down here. There goes the demo. Best time to hit is now. Best time to hit is now, before the ship upgrades come in. Not exactly the hit Tato would have wanted. Now, a weaker demo can still kill the other demo, but it doesn't happen there. And this is where these docks being rock solid is important for Tato. If he wasn't Persians, this would be a whole lot worse. He picked Persians first, guys. This is his first Civ pick. And thus far, looking pretty good for Sito. You know Tato's going to hop out with a demo, though. He gets some hits that he needed. And so he can still get kills. Now, there are the villagers for Sito. The fact he has no loom is stressing me out, guys. Tato doesn't see it, though. Tato's scouting with this scout here, and he's just now making another scout. Sito needs to drop a TC somewhere. And he's going to drop it so close by to all this. He's going to drop it right there with no loom. If the 2 scouts find that with no walls, that gets denied. And another big demo from Tato to still hold on to this position. And again, we're seeing it. Like, again, optimal play where you don't get hit by the demos. Optimal play where you're able to snipe the fishing ships. You're able to wall in your villagers, get loom, all those things. And, you know, there's no potential. But it feels like there is always some potential for Tato right now. The no loom thing must just be players forgetting about it at this point, right? Like, they're used to having loom by Castle Age on other maps. That's got to be why this is happening. Tato just misses it. I mean, it's just crazy. He scouted the area. He must feel so good right now. And then this poor villager's going to wander right in. Tato needs his villagers here. Tato will see that. And Tato did make a dock over here as well. And Tato getting the Lycav upgrade first thing. He will drop a TC. This villager just running away. Sato saw her, so Sato's looking for her. I believe Tato will click wall this villager in and make everyone say wow in about 5... No, never. Okay. War Galley upgrade from Tato. Research from home. Makes sense, so the forward docks can produce. You gotta love that. These docks haven't even been repaired. They're still up, but there's a whole lot more Navy for Sato around these docks than Tato has within the docks. And waiting for that demo, right? I love the amount of respect Sato's giving Tato's demo. Actually, it sucks for Tato. He can't move out. Yeah, like, he knows. He learned that in the Nomad game, in the previous one. Now it's going to take a long time for these fires to make it into the back of Sato's eco. But they will eventually make it. And now 1 down, 2 to go, Sato. He'll eventually loop around to hit Tato's fishing ships. And we have double monastery for Sato. Whoa. He didn't see the barracks or the stable, and he only ever saw 1 scout. You see that reaction right there? I think he just caught a glimpse of the Lycav. The demo hits for Tato. And Tato will hope for another demo here soon. Fishing ships getting sniped. Tato will like that. There is a point where maybe the Navy isn't that effective anymore. Tato gets the kills from the fishing ships. Has a greater eco count and then loops in with more fires, and we'll have another demo here. And if that demo connects while everything else is happening, Sato could hate life and boom! Okay, well, kind of a bland demo, but still hits. And just non-stop aggression from Tato. Both players still thinking about the mainland. And we'll show res collected here in a second, but even the transport ship going to be taken out here in a second if Sato's not careful. And this is where I do feel as though with any other civ, this isn't good. Like maybe Byzantines, because you also have more HP, you have the stronger fires. But this is the Persian effect. It's just that dock HP. You remove that bonus, this wouldn't have worked out to the same level. That's a lot of monks from Sato. And players like to do this because if your food eco is not great, you already have so much on wood and on gold for ships. It feels natural to just use the wood for a monastery and then spend gold on monks. And you can also garrison inside the TC at any point in time. Big demo there from Sato, but still is pretty much lost water. Look at this, guys. Look how many look how many demos he queued up. So Tato can't see that. It feels like this is from a scenario with these trees. He sees double monastery, but he's just spread out. And he's just getting relics right now. You know, res collected's pretty close. I think food collected's a more important stat than anything right now. And Tato hasn't farmed like crazy on this island. But does have some hunt and did have those buffaloes we talked about. Sato's farming a bit. Still has some berries remaining. Scout for Sato goes down. The other thing, too, is how are you going to push a Persian TC? No, dude! Okay, Sato is scared he's not going to get this castle up. I was just going to say, you want to drop and hit the TC with the castle, ideally. But he was scared about that. And so he places a castle. He sees the opponent's stable, and his monks are looking to stop Tato's castle. Tato had to buy a little bit of stone for this. Both players were thinking about this possibility. And where are the Lycav, Tato? Feels like the Lycav need to come out here, kill these monks, get rid of them. Here we go. And they're going to get rid of them all right. The monks are going to go down if they don't get into the castle, and Sato will save 2 of them. Still, though, I think Sato will take that. Because you can make Genoese crossbowmen now, which can deal with the Lycav. You also converted a couple of Ills. I don't think that's too bad. Normally, it's a race to Imp from here, but it doesn't feel like either player's in a natural spot to go Imperial Age, so I feel like Rams would make sense for Tato. Sato doesn't really have anything else. This castle's all alone. Whereas if there's like Rams... I guess Rams for both could be good. Or you just use the market and buy the food for Imp. I think... What do you guys think about... And I'm not saying market's bad, but like one of these days... If there's ever a day where there's not a tournament and things are a bit more chill. What if I hosted a no-market show match? Obviously, we couldn't invite Doubt. We couldn't invite Doubt. That's the one show match that Doubt wouldn't be eligible to be invited for. But, you know, like, right, the market changes the whole game. Like, Imp was never a possibility until that guy just booped the market a bunch, you know? Just a thought. I mean, the thing is, though, markets allow comebacks, too. It would be way more snowballing. So, players use it to get ahead now. But if you didn't have the market, you're going to have a lot more one-sided games as well. A great decision from Sito to realize the market is valuable there. And I still wonder why we're not seeing a ram. They must feel like the enemy can always add a mangonel behind and hit the ram. But when those castles are so important, ram would be super valuable. Tato going to run all the way over here for a new TC. And, you know, Tato's going to have the eco lead. But it is very likely, as that deer was blocking his siege workshop, that he will lose this castle and lose his TC. What about a monkless arena show match? Nah, dude. I love monks on arena. I'm never going to play against... I don't like to play it. It's fun. I don't think I could invite an arena player. So, the Genoese crossbowman, for now, something that Sito is going to commit to. We're seeing Bod Canero. We're also seeing the cheaper university upgrades for the Italians. So, masonry comes in. That's really nice. Typically, you're seeing chemistry as well. And that is going to be cheaper. That allows bombard cannons. Sito, another castle now. Could still see cheaper dock tech, so we could see fast fire. But Sito is already controlling the water. There's no need to invest in the water. I think a couple cannon galleons later could be kind of nice, but for now, I think water's going to be something he's not really thinking of. And again, res collected close. More food, more gold collected for Tato, but it's just how cheap everything is for Sito. And Sito will get to the first trep. Which means Tato has to prepare for life without this castle. And, you know, Tato picked Persians because of the docks. And, you know, the overall good eco. But Persians really struggle in early Imperial Age, guys. That's why, like, on Arabia, the best thing Persians could probably do is, like, late Castle Age all in. Lots of knights in siege. You delay your Imperial Age by spending resources on army. You don't get Bracer as a civilization. You're now going Cav against a civilization that can make, you know, Genoese crossbowmen as a counter to the Cav. And it really feels like Sito's moment here. This is against Tato's first civilization pick. To win here would be wonderful for him. And I said it before the series. Like, Tato's the favorite, but not as much as he would have been 2 years ago in this matchup. Sito's really grown as a player. In the last 3 rounds in this tournament, he had to win, and he won to get to this place in the quarterfinals. Now, Tato's going to try and time a shot. There's no real easy way for Tato to distract Sito. Sometimes you'll attack in one area and then boop, pop out with the mango. I think you have to take your shot while you can here, Tato. Right now. He doesn't do it. Chemistry on the way for Tato. Chemistry is already in for Sito. He thought about it, so he's making bombard cannons. And this has been the theme in these migration games, is early trebs, castle drops, and bombard cannons. Tato's eco is still superior. He's just got to find a way to take good engagements and spend the resources on something that's going to be effective. He's kind of got Sito trapped. He's got lots of vision, so he knows Sito's stuck here for now. But Sito is just going to textbook drop a castle next to all of his trebs as he continues to move forward. So smart. This castle will essentially prevent Tato from using any bombard cannons from pushing these trebs. This treb, though, needs to be following, though, if you're Sito to hit this castle here. Now, you will need to invest in some repairs. It's not saying it's not risky. But you have masonry. It's never ideal to place a castle at the bottom of a hill, but I think you have to do it. You have to move out. You have to breathe here. He's going to be running low on gold eventually. I think most of Sito's gold income is actually coming from his starting island. And just that one relic he collected. Problems for Tato is he's trying to use his trebs here. Has to back away with his trebs. Tato's got the bombard cannons, though. The pathing's going to be extremely awkward for this with this castle here. Not really sure how many tiles of space are there. Sato's Bombard Cannon able to hit some shots. Tato trying to hit that and missing. Tato doesn't see his Treb is getting hit. Tato does see it now. Tato's Treb is going to go down, though. To the Bombard Cannon. It doesn't go down. And now the hand cannons pop out of the castle. Surprise! Whoa! What a nice hold there from Tato. This army over here still gonna prove to be annoying, but Tato's holding the hill. And explained what Sato was trying to do and why Sato is trying to do it, because he's out of space. He had the Treb advantage. He had the chemistry advantage. He should have the Bombard Cannon advantage, but he doesn't have the Bombard Cannon advantage. His castle goes down. His Trebs are now exposed, and Sato is wondering, what else do I do? And that tower is a desperation tower if I've seen it. Also, a lot of that score, a lot of that army count we're seeing for Sato is leftover Navy that is not helping him anywhere else. He'll go here. He'll find more stone. Where is that gold income right now for Sato? This? That's his gold. There's some gold there too. Tato with Commander on now, so his crossbows will only cost wood. A unique tech that you don't normally see from pros. But it just allows him to save gold on other things. The condos come in from Sato and take out 3 Bombard Cannons from Tato. What a swing! What a swing! Bombard Cannons are so expensive. And both players now have lost the castle in this area. And it still could swing either way. The eco count's really similar. But, you know, hand cannons get countered by the condos. The condos resist, you know, the bonus damage there. And Tato just taps out. Wow, you know, it went back and forth there. It really felt like Tato was going to hold this castle. But Sato kept pushing with cannons and trebs. And then the condos running in there were fantastic. Now, there were no armor upgrades on those condos. So I don't really think... Like, I honestly think the score might have gotten into Tato's mind a little bit here. I don't know if this is necessarily completely over, but now that I look at it, I guess he's actually having gold problems. Yeah, that could explain part of it, but if you think of the eco count, and then the army count, and then consider that, like, 17 of the 36 army for Sato is actually water, maybe Tato could have tried with the crossbowman, but again, as you always say with trash bows, it's just a crossbow. You're still in Imperial Age making a crossbow. It's kind of similar to the Malay and their two-handed swordsman. But I've learned you can't trash talk force levy too much. You can't do it. People don't like that. People like the force levy technology. What a great job from Sato. Like I said, I think optimally, the strategy Tato just did probably shouldn't be as successful. That's just my general feeling on it. But, you know, Tato collected more resources, but what Sato was able to do is get the position in early imp and still manage things. He didn't take heavy losses to Tato's pressure. He didn't, but Tato wasn't able to stop him from expanding with the TCs. In that moment where we talked about the market was so critical for him, because otherwise he wouldn't have been able to win this game. The Bombard Cannons, the Trebs, the Condos, finding those 3 kills, such big finds with such important units. And Sato now has won 2 straight against Tato. And we know Tato's not going to go away quietly here. So I don't know where the person is that said 4-0 for Tato at the start of the stream, but it's all good. We like bold predictions on this channel. Just looking a little bad right now, my friend. Sato is here to play today. All right, folks. So this is a big question, right? Like, coming into this draft even, I said if it's hideout, Tato loves Cumans. And picks went by, and there was no Cumans for Tato. And then Sato chose to snipe it. And by snipe it, I mean pick it himself. So it's game 4. It is Tato's home map. And Sato's got his favorite civilization on the map. Cumans can make the second TC in Feudal Age. That is oftentimes what they do. There is something that I noticed on this hideout. The boars are always outside the walls. So they really made this a lot more difficult than other versions of hideout. You have to either open the gate with the sheep, or you have to like delete walls, which is what Sato did. So that aspect of it's not fun. But Sato has managed it, no problem. And again, expectation is second TC in Feudal Age. We'll see what Tato chooses to do to counter that. What Tato normally does when he's Cumins is 2 TC boom, and then he'll add Feudal Age Army to prevent villagers from coming forward. So I could see Sato thinking of something similar. I also feel like if there's any Civ to not try anything too crazy against Cumins to still beat them, maybe it would be the Burgundians. Their eco is really good. So I could see Tato still going fast castle into like just light cav and booming and trying to fight for relics. And if that happens, the relics are a bit better for Tato. This one's kind of neutral, I suppose. Yeah, actually, the relics are very neutral. This one's like right between both of them. But I could see Tato with light cav getting that one and then getting the other two over here. Yeah, the house, since you start with the house in this, it blocked the berries for both of them. So maybe there's a world where eventually they delete that house, but for now, obviously, they need the pop space for it. So we'll see. Tato could also go for a unique unit play. Like, if he really feels like he needs to do lots of damage, we could even see him go to stone. But I would say that, more realistically, I think we see Tato go for a standard build and just adapt. I think this will just be fast castle for him. You almost have no choice. At T90, are you going to cover some of the 2v2s and the cartographers? I don't know the cartographer's schedule right now. But I'm not, like, planning on really... I'm going to be home. So, yeah. I just don't know exactly, like, what the schedule is for the event. Because I think there's a qualifier or something. So, I am on a team as well for that event. But I'm mainly going to be the strategist. I haven't been playing the game a lot. So, I'm teamed up with Ozone and Matador, who I teamed with for another event last year. And so, I will probably just be letting them play. Or like, you know, not letting them. I'm not a bully, guys! I'm not a bully. They'll probably be playing, and then I will be looking over maps and strats with them to try and help out the team. But it's a really fast tournament. So I imagine the structure's pretty quick. I think it's just 2 weeks or something. No qualifier? Okay, got it. Yeah, it's like a really brutal format because it's such a short time. So this is going to go late game. I want to take the time to say thank you, everyone, for 6K freaking viewers. A lot of people, man. On a... I almost said on a Monday. What is it, Friday? I'm the worst. Thanks, everybody. We'll have the other quarterfinal after this, of course. So, lots of action today. If I'm not doing community games on a Friday, my whole schedule's ruined. And then, like, tomorrow I'm going somewhere. I won't actually be able to cast this tournament tomorrow, which is a bit of a bummer for you guys, but... be hanging out with some friends, assuming my sickness doesn't get worse. So, like, if my casting schedule's all over the place, I forget what day it is. But for now, Tato, this is everything that's expected. The only thing we haven't seen is a barracks yet from him. So, you know, we could end up doing is Blacksmith Market for now, and adding the barracks and stable later. But that is not the common way to do it. Because you have to make an extra building that way, basically. So, I think Tato's just going to go, okay, take your 2 TCs. I'm going to go for 3. And Burgundians have the cheaper eco upgrades. You get the eco upgrades in age earlier, so their eco's still really good. But, obviously, having more villagers is still insane. Well, Tato's done the smart thing as well to not leave his base until he was in Feudal Age. Because Feudal Age scouts get more attack and speed, so that is why the score is so different right now. Sato's been scouting like crazy. But that's a small detail that I think a lot of players forget. If you're going fast castle versus fast feudal, you got to keep your scout in your walls. Which civ do you prefer in Imp? I actually think both of them have really good late game. Like, or let me take it back. I think both of them have similar late game strengths. Burgundians have awesome gunpowder, but their skirms are... maybe not the best skirms. Certainly better than human skirms. I think I would prefer the Burgundians because of the gold they get from their farms. Having better skirms, having halbs, having bombard cannon. But humans have the super fast producing stables with step husbandry, which is just insane. I think Tato's shown us many times how good that is when he plays humans. I think Kipchek is a really good unit to have mixed into your army composition in late game. So I think instead of who's the best post-him Civ, we should be saying who is able to get the advantages early Imperial Age. And I think that would be the Cumans. Just on the back of this type of build. There's going to be such an influx of resources. Like, Sito's going to click up to Castle Legion one of his TCs. But he is not going to be able to spend the resources he's bringing in out of his other TCs. He's going to have a lot of excess, and I think he'll spend that on army. So we'll see how that ends up going. We'll keep referencing the res collected. For now, Burgundian's keeping pace. It's the food count where you're going to expect things to climb a lot more for Sito. And there's the second TC for Tato, and then there's the third TC. But again, if there's any Civ that could catch up and compete, it would be Burgundians. The difference, though, is Tato won't be floating lots of resources. Because in order to catch up, he invests. And Sito's already has the big boom. So he'll be in a wild position here. Now, a couple small details here that are important that you might not realize otherwise. Notice where Tato built his market blacksmith. Tato is hiding his buildings because he does not want to give Sito the information of, yeah, I'm just booming. He wants Sito to have to respect the potential to have army. And Tato might even add army too. He's adding the barracks now. So Sito's looking, he saw the TC, but it'd be pretty realistic for Tato to have a second TC and still have the stable. So Sito's trying to figure this out right now. And this doesn't tell him enough. Now, I think it's smart to always add the stable because you're going to have the food anyways, so I don't think it will really affect Sito's decision-making. There's the barracks. He'll obviously drop the stable. And Tato also trying to find some things at Sito's base. I'd say you shouldn't be surprised by Sito adding a stable for Tato. If anything, Sito a little bit more question on what happens here. But I think Res Collected will actually stay dead even. I think it'll be pretty close. Over time. Bad timing. I should have saved it. Now you're starting to see the food climb, right? But with the eco upgrades Tato has, the Vil count's going to be around the same by the time Sito's an Imp. Because it's 1 TC versus 3. But again, it's like, Sito can go for upgrades. Sito can go 2 stables. Sito's going to have a lot of stuff left over. Also, the Cuman Scout is slightly faster, right? Yeah, 1.63 versus 1.55. Will Sito react here? Tato's like, oh, you're winning the fight. No, you're not. Haha. You tried to trick him there. 28 on food for Sito. So Tato's just going for spears. But we now see the stables coming up as well, and he's going to add scouts. Like have upgrades also cheaper for the Burgundians, as are all their stable upgrades. Even if relics aren't collected, just controlling this middle area is so important here. Like, if you clean up any forces here, you then have the potential to fortify this and push in the next stage. There's our first kill of the game, by the way. Woo! All right. See how things play out here. Pikeman upgrade could come in for Tato. He's getting squires, which makes the spears a bit faster, which is still fine. Now, the Vil count is pretty close to even. Sito, of course, has the option to add the third TC. I would say doing that would make sense here. And best of luck to anyone out there for anyone who is a monk. Friar Tuck, good luck to you. And Pope Leo, and whatever monk names you can think of. I don't think it's going to be a very good time for them. A monk should be coming out for Sito as well. He's actually adding Step Lancers now. I don't hate it, because Step Lancers are a bit better against the Spear Edition. Still does make sense to me to try and get those relics. But you could still get the relics a bit later on, provided you use the Step Lancers to kill the army from Tato. And then if Tato doesn't have army, obviously your monks can move out freely. So live your life. Tato gets that first relic, not bad. Res collected now. Cuman's insane. Still 1,200 more res. But Tato has had those farm upgrades. It's like the thing you factor in now is Tato's not going to be spending as much wood on on reseeding farms because you got those farm upgrades super early. Like, there's like 350 food on all these farms. Whereas for Sito, his wood will go into reseeding farms. 30, 18, 130, 40, 50, 70, like... So, something that's like, again, it's a really tiny detail, but it's a closed map, so we talk about it. What happens, guys, if you run out of space to spend all your excess wood if you're Tato? Well, I think like 2 years ago, players make more production buildings or something. Or maybe 4 years ago, I don't know. But it's always going to come back to the market sometimes, and Tato's going to lose the monk. He opened the gate! Hodor! Well, that monk did it. The monk deserved to die, I think, if that's what happened there. But, as Tato's going to open the gate again, and maybe he wants his opponent to come in here, we might see Tato sell all that excess wood at some point. If you can't realistically spend it. Now, I think he wants a TC. I could see him TCing this. He's got the extra stone for it. Right now, just one relic collected. This light cab on patrol over here. A monk died here, I believe. Hold on, I'm just going to quickly go back. What died there? Ooh, the light cav died. Ooh. Ooh, okay, that's what happened there. I might need to slightly speed up to live time here. I was going to say, would have taken Tato a long time to get a monk over there. Tato wants this TC. Step Lancers have that range, but they still receive bonus damage from pikemen. And I know you can micro them, Sito, but I still think... it's just a little bit too risky here against a player like Tato. And what a fun game. It's a really fun game. Very close right now. Here come villagers, though, for Sito. Sito wants a castle. I actually think... I know he wants the imp timing, but if there's any question on if he can get the castle up forward, I think even a castle here is fine. You build your first castle here, make a couple kip checks to help against the pikes, and then your second castle can go forward. I don't think you have to actually... drop the castle here. Now, if you could do it, you do it. But I think it's a little risky right now. A lot of these step lancers are poking down the pikes, though. And the monk goes down as well. And Sito with some excellent micro. A lot of people were like, what are you doing, step lancer? When they saw the steps against pikes like this. But it's just that range from the step lancers, which is given enough value here for Sito. He's going to drop the castle there. But he's going to clear it up. Now, keep in mind, he researched bloodlines. He went for armor. He went for attack. And that castle is nuts, man. Sito, such a good talent in our game, right? And he has been. And he's been getting better and better. And maybe 2 years ago, we say, the guy's really good on Arabia. And he played really well in a tournament like King of the Desert, for example. But it's the mixed maps that really separates... you know, the beasts from the men. And, or beasts from the men from the boys. Let's just say that. But then again, there's, anyways, it doesn't matter. Whatever phrase you want to insert there, you can insert it. The point is, Sito's playing incredible right now. Okay? He's playing incredible. He's on his way to the Imperial Age. His castle here is going to shoot down the TC. And, well, actually, it's shooting at the house. But it will eventually shoot down the TC. And he's in a position to make Trebs an early imp. Now, he has completely forgotten about the kip check. Like, he's like, I'm not committing to this kip check much long term. He's going to use the castle primarily to go for trebuchets. And Tato really needs stone for more castles here. And that's a bit of a weird play from Tato to be out there. I think you've got to know the step lancers are going to move around there. So I think army comp for Sito could be pikes of his own into Halb. And just step lancers, light cav, trebs. I think all of those things should do a good job. And even here, Sito, great job. Could maybe snag this relic in the meanwhile. Snag this relic in the meanwhile. Could end up having more relics than Tato. The thing that could save Tato is that he can go bombard cannon. So we could see a university from him. And if he goes university, then he can go for chemistry and whatnot. But that still takes time. And that's a real concern now. You're losing villagers on this gold. And I think the big story right now, before we even see the conclusion of this game, is the fact that Tato didn't get Cumans on his draft. Like, it's a pretty big deal. Like, we're always talking about humans and hideout with Tato, and the question then was, is Sito going to be able to play the humans as well as Tato typically plays the humans? And he's absolutely doing that, taking a page out of Tato's book with the map control. Step Lancers. Wow, they're so good, man. You don't normally see human Step Lancers because they're just faster, whereas Mongol Step Lancers have more HP, and then Tatar Step Lancers have more armor. The human Step Lancers are like the forgotten Lancers. No one really likes to talk about them. But it's such a good unit to make when you have so much food income. And the resources came in because of that economy. Tato's castle will go down. He's waiting for chemistry. I mean, he's going to lose so much of his base here. Oh, man. Step Lancer's going to dive in. I think this is probably the last we're going to see of the Lancers. I think when they eventually die, we're mainly just going to see Halbs from Sito. And then the Kipchak. Because you need ranged units, and you now have the castles. Sick. One thing I'll say here, though, because Kipchaks lack so much damage from the normal blacksmith upgrades, lacking Bracer, well, first off, you need to make sure you have those upgrades. But you also need to make sure the university upgrades are in. And this has been heavy focus on snagging relics, and pushing and tread pushing. So if there ever is a point where you need those Kipchaks, you just need to be thinking about that stuff now. Res collected, for those curious. Humans still have maintained that lead. So much for the Burgundians catching up. I thought, in theory, if any Civ could, it would be the Burgundians, but Civ is just insane. And Tato about to go 3-1 down. And Sito, I mean, the decision-making's been fantastic. Now, you've got, counterattacks from Tato. I was wondering what that red blob was there. So Tato's got Cavalier and Light Cav, looping around to the other side. Getting some counter damage in is so necessary here. And Light Cav will kill the Monk. A lot of those barracks for Sito are forward at the moment. And meanwhile, Tato may be an opportunity to use the Bomber Cannon to kill the Trebs. He's attack rounding between the Trebs, so he can kill 2 Trebs with 3 volleys. Bam. Huge finds for Tato there. Really just needs to find the resources to be able to get Halb. And as exciting as this is for Sito, he got distracted there. And Tato's counterattack worked to perfection. 3 Trebs go down. And remember the Kipchaks, though. You need castles to produce them. And now there's 3 castles here to produce them. And they're pretty cheap units. So more upgrades coming in now for Sito, who already had Halb. He's still really distracted. But he's still got this position. He can just settle. You can just... This is a deep breath moment if there ever was one. Just settle a little bit. Easier said than done, right? It's like if someone tells you to calm down when you're in a really stressful time. Dude, just calm down. If I could be calm, I would be calm. I don't know if there's a French phrase that encapsulates that, but the toes can't really calm down because Tato's raid's there. And I think maybe Tato should bring Vills then, right? Like bring like 4 Vills, make some buildings here, and then consistently pressure Sito's eco. Any units that Sito has to send home are units that he can't push with anymore. And we're far from finished, folks. The Kipchak upgrades are not in. Like, chemistry's not there. We don't have Parthian tactics. We don't have Thumb Ring yet. We don't have armor. We don't have elite. Tato's got bombard cannons. Tato's got halbs. Tato's got hand cannons. It's crazy what that counterattack did. There's so much army that had to go home. And so much focus away from the front. And another example of it for Sito! And Sito had so much momentum here. But now, guys, you've committed to Kipchak. And you might lose your castles. Really bad sign. Now, Tato, careful. Those to be really careful here. We have elite Kipchak on the way for Sito. Also armor, also ballistics. Upgrades he was missing before. Tato loses a bombard cannon, but he hits the Kipchaks. Are Kipchaks strong enough here? It really, again, it always comes down to Kipchaks with the cost and the timing of it. It feels like maybe the timing is somewhat past because Tato's not only on Halb at the moment, but I like this from Sito. Taking a page out of Tato's book, right? You're not immediately pressuring my castles? Good, because I'm going to kill you now. Or your house. But the Kipchaks loop in. Tato wasn't expecting this. Tato doesn't have fortifications here. And Tato has to react to this in some way. And it's elite Kipchak now. Again, these units fire very quickly. Still missing, I think, the armor and then thumb ring and then... Yeah, I mean, thumb ring's a big one for the fire rate and accuracy and whatnot. And now Sato being forced to deal with this. Goes forward with the Kipchaks, and the Kipchaks are good enough to take out some hand cannons from Tato. Tato's still distracted. Sato trying his best to focus these down. He's going to kill 2 bombard cannons with the Kipchaks. He also took out the monastery. He also is killing some of the army here. And he's slowly starting to surround Tato. The castle's being repaired. The castle fire is helping Sato here. And I think the Kipchaks might just dive for the rest of this. And Sato could win the game right here. It could happen. Bombard cannon down. Beautiful use of the Kipchaks from Sato. There's 1 bombard cannon and there's 1 trap. Sato's out of stone. Sato's out of stone. He is going to lose the castle. But Tato's going to lose his traps. Wow. Okay, well, at least Tato took out the castle there. That's a positive. That gives him more of a chance. But there is still another castle here, which will likely stay up. Sato, with halves on this side, has not found enough to kill Tato as Tato build a castle in that area. Tato, no attempt even to pack up this trap. I think he's just too distracted right now. He's lost so much map control. So it's 2 relics for Sato. Could always get the 3rd down here. Tato's 2 relics will need to be collected, and he's going to do that now. And okay, this is where I think Siege Ram or like... I think Siege Onager might be too wild, but my feeling is even like Siege Onager could devastate Tato, but you never see that at this stage of the game in a 1v1. Because look at the amount that Sato has on gold. Since Kipchaks are so cheap, like, what are you going to spend your gold on? Apparently, the answer is Cavalier. This guy's going to go for Cavalier here. And what you do here, guys, is you do not show Tato a single knight until it's Paladin. So you go Kipchak and Halb for now, like you have been doing. And then when you show up with Paladin, you've got like 30 of them to potentially win the game. A Hussar is the safe play, just to raid Tato, but you've got a big enough lead. You've got control over enough golds. There's just gold everywhere for him to take. He's actually not mining a lot of the golds that he could. But yeah, he clicks Paladin now. I like this decision for Sato, because he's got Tato on the back foot. And now this might confuse some people, because, yeah, Paladin is quote-unquote countered by Halb, but Paladin destroys a Halb in a 1v1 fight. So if you have the resources to make like 30, 40 Paladins and then have Kipchaks in combination with it, it should, in theory, be good enough. It's just the cost effectiveness of the Halb is what is good because of the bonus damage. Tato, of course, just doesn't have the gold that Sato does. But Tato's spending a lot of his res on army actively right now. Sato hasn't still been making Halbs, hasn't still been making Kipchaks. He's kind of stopped. At least he's given up some on this area. Tato is able to hold on this area at the same time. Hussar is the safe play, right? Hussar is the safe play. I think Hussar, Kipchak, Onager, or Siege Ram is a potential way to look at this if you're Sato beyond just Paladin. But he's going for Paladin. Tato, what a comeback this would be, man. He's going to reclaim his golds here, guys. He's holding over here with 2 bombard cannons. I could see Tato doing it. Tato catching up on upgrades. Tato with 140 villagers. Tato with more on food. Just 1 more, but still. And, I mean, for Sato, he's just had this crazy gold collected this game. He's going to spend it all on Paladin. I don't even think showing 10 Paladins enough. I'd like to see, like, 20 or 30, you know? Like, really go for it. But he's lost ground, and he doesn't want to lose ground. Is 10 Paladins in this area enough? It's a lot of resources to get the Paladin. Tato able to see it. Tato could trap this as well. And Sato's going to run right on by. Maybe a couple Paladins in the back of the eco here. And the rest of the Paladins try and stay. Tato with the Siege Workshops. He traps the Paladins. The Halbs are here, and Tato's holding against Paladin, at least in this area. Now, I think like a 1-2 punch would be epic, right? Where it's like the Paladins hit here. Yeah, Tato defends from it. Bam! 4 trebuchets and 20 paladins hit here. You take out the bomber cannons. You take out the castle. Like, that would be the ideal here. But this is so far from the ideal now for Sito. And I think Tato's got a real fighting chance now to hold on here, guys. I'm not seeing that paladin investment do anything just yet. Tato will reclaim this gold. And if you're wondering what Tato should do, it's pretty much more the same, I would say. Until he starts to float a little bit more in the way of resources. He's going full trash and cannons. And that could be fine. And Kipchek's dive and kill a bombard cannon. And Tato only has 1 treb here. Imagine if he had more. The castle would fall for Tato if there was more. Another bombard cannon. No way, dude. What? Okay, it goes down. Over here, halbs against paladins and paladins against halbs and skirms. But the paladins are doing it. This is the strength of paladin. The paladin is still paladin, one man said. And it's true. And again, where's the siege from Sito? If you have the siege as well on the back of this, you could start to take out the fortifications. It's still wild to me, though, that, like, this gold... Okay, this is being taken. This gold isn't being taken. This gold... Okay, whatever. There's a relic here. There's more ways to get more gold if you're Sito. But he's done an excellent job here. Clearly, this is, like, the easier spot for him to push with paladins. But this is the spot that's easier for him to push with siege because he has the castle. It's super weird. Like, I think Tato's still kind of stabilizing from this. And again, Tato's civilization, arguably the better late game civilization. We'll see. Bombard cannon goes down again, though. Oh, man. Big moment. Look at that paladin distract all those halbs. Here goes Sito again. Now, there's a point where Sito won't be able to make paladins anymore against this many halbs. There's 60 halbs from Sito. From Tato. And, oh, man. Guys, I'm getting concerned. Sito never had the considerable siege push on this side. He wants to go Kipcheks, right? His castles are split up. He doesn't actually have the pop space for it. And I feel as though the position was set up to go like siege ram with Hussar. Or like Onager. And he chose to go the paladin route. And Tato maybe built up some confidence in himself now after seeing the paladin hasn't broken him yet. Tato tracks this very nicely. Tato even catching up on upgrades he didn't have. Burgundian Vineyards now. Tato will get a little bit of gold from his farms. On the top of the 2 relics. And Chief says Scorpions would have helped a ton. Scorpions, I think, I have to disagree with, only because the bombard cannons are much better against Scorpions than, say, Onager. I can understand why you're thinking that, but I think Scorpions would be a bit of a struggle. I also don't know if humans get heavy Scorpion, to be honest. But the lack of Kipchek in combination with the Cav has been obvious to me over the last few moments. And it comes down to Sito. He built those 3 forward castles and he lost them. There's not going to be any stone available for him to mine. So if he loses more castles, this could get worse for him. Sito with the save! And you use all the rest of your gold to at least make sure that you're getting a decent Kipchek mass. And you're getting the Hussar upgrade right now, if you're Sito. Sito has to hold this side while simultaneously trying to push this side. Tato, if he loses this, his eco's wide open. What a back and forth game. 70 army for both. So well played from Sito to get to this position, and so well played from Tato to bring it back. But the Kipcheks are still dealing out some decent damage against those halbs. The paladins run through. They run right into the open arms of the halbs. Like their long-lost family member who was off at war. And is off to give him a big old hug. It was a hug of death, but the halbs are disappearing for Tato. The castle's still standing here. The Kipcheks are insane. Do not hate on the Kipchek. The Kipchek is good. It's like suddenly things are looking better because he's got Kipcheks on the field again. And the castle for Tato goes down, but Tato's going to take this castle out, which means fewer Kipcheks. All the production buildings for Sito are sitting right here. Sito house walls and trebs, but the trebs could still be picked off by the halbs, and what a game. Now, guys, there's all this war, all this carnage, but I just think we should appreciate the peace that is happening right here. Okay? Bloodshed, horrible, horrible atrocities piece. And I don't know if they know about that piece, but that piece could lead to war, as it so often can, because they are chopping through to each other's lands right now. So, things to keep an eye on. Population similar again for both. Couple units in the back. Getting through for Sito. That's just a palisade wall. And it's the Kip checks that are becoming difficult for Tato to push now, because he had largely helps. Oh boy. Tato buy that castle. He did buy a little bit of stone so we could build this castle. Man, Siege Ram, though, would have been so good. I think it might be too late. Also, shout out to the random militia that is somewhere on our screen. Yeah, there he is. He's a real beast. He's going to lead the way. But, like, Tato doesn't really have a good unit to take out Siege Ram. And I feel like 4 or 5 Siege Rams in combination with the Halbs here even take out this castle. Like, could have big effect. Sito has another castle. So now Sito has 2 castles. He's got one on the right, one on the left. And Tato's going to build up a greater skirm mass now because of the Kip checks. All right. Who do you pick to win this game, guys? The 3 relics for Sito. He's got the Kip checks. He's killing the Halbs. He's holding here, maybe, sort of, kind of. A lot of people saying Tato. And this could be like the series, the game to remember in the series as well for Sito if he doesn't end up winning this quarterfinal. I've been there where you make your production buildings forward and then you need to wait to add more, and it's super awkward. Also, I don't think we ever saw step husbandry, which is really nice to make the calves spam faster out of your stables. And no Hussar, because he spent a lot of that gold on the paladins, which he's still producing here or there. But I think you just gotta wait and get the Hussar upgrade now. I think I'm with you. I think Tato from here. I think Tato is shown... Like, I think it's been harder for Tato to play this at various points. And he's shown that he can handle the moment. And he's slowly making progress on this side, and I'm not seeing Sito stop him. Sito will occasionally get a paladin or 2 in the back of Tato's eco, but that's about it. Tato is 2,000 gold that he isn't really spending at the moment. He's just going hand cannons and skirms, and hand cannons and skirms is good enough to protect the siege, it seems like. And the army count is pretty pitiful right now for Sito. He's got 5 paladins, 7 halbs, 16 Kip checks, 25 light cav, and 1 militia. As now Tato clicks paladin. But he's thinking about what he can use his gold on beyond just the siege. And he's going to be prepping paladin behind this. Oh no. Oh geez, that is a big loss for Tato. Because those 2 cannons help hold against any trebs that might come in from Sito. So, frustrating loss for Tato, but there's no siege coming in from Sito. Sito was very trickle trebby on this side. And he never really had 4 or 5 trebs together. And now both players getting Hussar as well. And just waiting to see, can Sito bring this back? I really, like, imagine being Sito, where you feel like you could have won this game, right? Maybe you consider Paladin to be a throw, whatever. Then you lose the game. Could affect your mentality going into the next game. Ultimately, you have to have very short memories as a player. You have to just forget about it, and you can think about it after the series. But sometimes it does live with you a little bit. This is more along the lines of the army we wanted to see from Sito before. The Kip checks are moving at the pace of the monk. Or something. I don't know what is in here. Is it the militia? It's the militia! The militia slowed the whole army down! If you group up a bunch of units together, they will move at the pace of the slowest unit. And the militia, who's still in there, he's still going to town. What a beast! The militia slowed the army down. The fight could have been better for Sito if the militia wasn't in there. The misclick has cost him, and he's not finished. The militia has given these much stronger warriors confidence that they can do it. They're like, if that militia does it, what can we accomplish in our lives? And the inspirational militia leads the charge, and Kip checks and Hussars take the hill back, and we are much further from the end of this game as maybe we thought. Wow. What a change Hussar made, right? Upgrading those Lycav. And we haven't seen Tato make any Paladins, guys. I believe in the Cumin late game. I'm not sure I like the fact that the castle for Sito is on the other side of the map. That's going to hurt him. So every Kipchak he loses is going to be so hard to get back. He's lost so many castles this game. There's another militia? Okay, apparently Tato canceled Paladin. I don't know what's happening here. But Sito is really playing towards the storyline here. I love it. He's clearly misclicking the militias. But here comes the next one, people. He's back. This is the son of the great militia we saw before. And it's just funny how it's won. Like, typically, if you misclick, you're going to misclick 5 of them. Obviously, Sito has no clue. What a good fight back here from Sito, though. 74 on food for him. And Onager is something he's clicked. Now, he panicked a little bit because he saw Tato's Treb. And he wants to kill this Treb. He's not going to get it. And his own Treb is sitting right here. Oh, he does get it. Oh, my God. That was huge. Let's see if he can protect his own Treb. He's got to bring some villagers for that. But Onager... I know a lot of people are going to think about Onagers for cutting the trees. But I honestly feel like Onager on the hill to help against the Halbs and Skirms is also really nice. Yes, Tato going Bombard Cannon could counter the Onager. But that is if everything plays out perfectly. And this is not a game where this has gone perfect. It's a messy, scrappy game. Onagers are great in messy, scrappy games. As you can see, there's not many Bombard Cannons for Tato anyways, because Sito keeps doing that. An Onager splat here would be huge for him. I think a bit of stubbornness at times for Sito. Like earlier when he went for Paladin instead of going for the Siege. Militia retreating now. And if this Onager cut does come through, Tato will have castles in decent enough position. Nice job again from Sito to take out that trap. What a game. All right. Where is he? Okay, so I'll keep an eye. Do we have any name suggestions from the live viewers? What would a Cumin militia be named? It has to be the second, of course, because this is the second one. Bob the Cumin militia? Are you kidding me? Here's the Onager cut. Johnson? You guys are horrible. Rambo. All right, Rambo the second. Wait, he's dead. I think he died. Oh, we were too busy naming him. We didn't even appreciate him while he was here. But he's dead. Kipchak's killing the Halbs. Hussars are going to kill these skirmishers immediately afterwards. And Tato's going to have an Onager cut to deal with as well. Now, Tato sacrificed most of his skirms to kill the Kipchaks there. You notice that? He's focused firing down the Kipchaks because he knows how successful those Kipchaks are. The Onager cut didn't actually happen. And my goodness, folks. Let's check res collected here. What a game. Sito does have the third relic. This is where you need patience with your gold. And if the next time Tato goes for this castle, the castle has to go down. This is where do not trickle treb comes from. You don't go with 1 or 2 trebs. You wait till you've got 4 and take that out. And I'm going to predict Tato wins this game solely due to the fact... as Hussars kill some villagers here, and I think this will be hard for Tato. Solely due to the fact that Sito can't make Kipchaks easily. It's only 1 castle. If he had 1 more castle here, I'd even think differently. Not going to be easy. You can tell he's thinking about adding his own Halbs into the mix, which is not bad. But skirmishers can do pretty well against that. The Onager is here to join the party here, and already making a difference. Tato snipes the trebuchet there from Sito. And he has his 1 treb there. So maybe he doesn't have the gold to be patient. Maybe it's all about timings, right? Tato loses this treb. It will upset me. You guys know me well enough to know that. If there's a militia on the field, I'm going to talk about it. If it's a trickle treb, I'm going to scream about it, right? But Tato notices it. He's paying attention. He's repairing the treb. And this is more of a timing thing because he knew Sito lost his treb and didn't have a counter. Tato's holding this whole corner. Sato is repairing, but will run out of stone. There is another militia in queue. He's not queuing multiple. It's one at a time. What does he know that we don't know? Again, if he queued up 5, I would understand the misclick a little bit more. Castle down here from Sato. He bought that stone. And he wants to save castle to produce the kip checks, and I don't blame him. This castle, though, I think still will fall. Tato diving in for the repair villagers. And Tato's going to lose his trebs. And in this case, he gets away with it, Tato. He will lose the trebs, but it's okay because he took out the castle. Okay, he's back. He's back in the middle. Like, if this was a ranked game and, like, Sato was chilling and streaming, you know, and then, like, it happened the first time and I was casting, and then, you know, some of you guys went over, those like, Sato, T90's having fun with the militia, make more militia. Sato would do it. That's not what this is. Rambo always returns. Not the most accurate name, but, you know, now that this castle isn't here, this whole area is exposed to raids. So now suddenly you're going to need barracks here and you're going to need Halps. He does have barracks here, of course. That's, I think, maybe where the militia came from. You might not want to onager the trees right now if you're Sato. Like, I think he's worried that if he does that, Tato's going to use that opening. Yeah, onager paying off. I like onager a lot. Onager is 16 kills. Make that 20 kills. Gonna be a long one. Could be just a game that breaks you if you lose. That's actually a fun stat. I want to see like someone go through a bunch of tournaments over the last couple years and tell me who won the series. Okay, so find out who won the longest game and tell me if they won the series. You see what I mean? Like Jordan and Andy in this tournament, remember that 3-hour Black Forest game? Jordan won the 3-hour game, Jordan won the series. I remember Hera Yo had a really long series in TTL on Hideout. Hera won that game, Hera won the series. It would be an interesting stat. Now, it's also tricky because it's like, oh, look at a player winning a game and they win the series. Oh, okay, well, that makes sense, but I think there's some truth to it because it can really take a lot out of you to lose games like these. And it still could go either way. I want to see Siege Ram. You have the food for it. I want to see Siege Rams clearing up these buildings. I think Siege Rams would be an amazing play here. Militia is moving forward, though, guys. We have movement. Well, we don't have movement. Well, sorry, correction. Is moving, but he is not as bold and as confident as his forefathers. 100 on food for Sato, 100 on food for Tato. We're close to it. Can you imagine an onager splat in that choke point? Actually, the choke point's fantastic for the kip checks. Guys, these 5 kip checks have 37 kills. 37! They just chew up the halbs so quickly. That's why it was so crucial that Sato made this castle back here. Sato's still holding this with just halbs and hussars, and if he can ever get hussars in the back of Tato's eco, he'll do it. And late game, you normally look at relic count, advantage Sato in this case, and then you would look at castle count and advantage Tato. Tato's got 3. And then obviously like tech options. It bothers me Tato isn't attacking his palisade wall because I keep looking there. I feel like if I were him, I would shoot it because I keep checking my minimap and seeing that. Is it a wood game? Tato is more on wood. Onager cut has happened. Onager cut has happened. Ding, 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 ding. Hussars are through. You could even just start chopping the wood the opponent's taking. Uh-oh. Tato with some crazy quick walls to keep these units away from his eco in the back. And impressive stuff from Tato, but it's still a lot of work that he has to do. And the militia has died. Tato advances forward, and Tato is going to lose all of his army while advancing forward, but he's distracted in the defense, so that makes sense. And it could have been much worse for Tato with the eco losses if more hussars got through. Okay, if Sato makes it a 4th time, I'm going to lose my mind. It's wild enough he even made it 3 times. But just remember, guys, there's going to be... Listen, I'm not going anywhere for a long time. We hope this game lives on for a couple more decades. But you were here. You witnessed the day of the 3 militia, okay? And the plan from here, okay, this is going to be tough for me as a streamer. This is between you and me, all right? We mention the day of the 3 militia, and we give no context. We can't explain it. We can't explain this inside joke, okay? So just say, oh, but were you there for the day of the 3 militia? And then people will be like, what was that? And then just no response. Nothing. Hussars have made it through for Sito on this side. These Hussar raids could catch up to Tato. Sito's killed 104 villagers from Tato. Tato's only killed 30. Again, siege rams here. These buildings would be gone. Seriously, I'm starting to get a little critical here. But it really, I think, is that something a lot of players would be doing. Humans do get siege ram. Well, it's surprising to me we're not seeing it. And maybe it's just a weakness for Sito. He doesn't find himself in these crazy post-imp games as frequently, because he normally kills someone by early Castle Age. Now, Burgundians don't get access to... Burgundians do not get siege ram, and capped ram is a whole lot weaker, so wouldn't expect it from Tato. This was the worry for Sito, so he chopped through, but he doesn't get stone walls. So Tato's actually going to be into his eco soon. The Hussars continue to loop in, but again, Tato's castles. This castle, 50 kills. This castle, 20 kills. The castles do defend for Tato pretty nicely. But, you know, it doesn't defend everywhere as more villagers are going down there. This castle, 35 kills, by the way. Halbs are now in underneath the TC. They'll probably die. It's all Sito right now in terms of the aggression. Tato's just trying to find something to give him hope right now because it's just the spam from these units. This seems to be the area for Tato. He's actually taking good fights here. So if he could make some progress here, maybe things could be different. Still wondering if we'll see Sito. He's gone elite skirm now. Maybe we'll see the Kipchak swing over this way. Yeah, Scorpion. If Cumans don't get heavy Scorpion, I don't think Scorpions are good play. But Siege Ram absolutely is. The buildings go down so fast to Siege Ram, and Halbs and Skirms tickle them. So the Siege Rams will almost always take out a building if they're up against just Halbs and Skirms. What a game. Sito actually has an Onager in queue. But he has 100 Hussars in queue. So he until he loses his Hussars or other units, this is not going to be prioritized. So he's not going to have a new Onager for a long time. Yeah, maybe buying a castle. I mean, buying a castle is going to cost well over 1,000 gold at this point. But if you think the game's going to go on long enough, maybe a second castle for that could make sense. Like, this is all progress with 3 siege rams. Tato has to deal with that immediately. Those buildings would be going down. I don't think Sito... Oh, he's getting capped ram now. Okay, so capped ram's on the way. Meaning we'll probably see siege ram as the follow-up. But he has lost ground, right? Tato is happy that there was an Onager cut here. He's like, thanks for the idea. Thanks for the opening. Tato can now raid. Tato has bent but not broken. And it is pretty telling that, at least on paper, Sito seems to have problems every time he no longer has a militia on the field. But obviously the militia is just a misclick, all right? There's no deep secret strategy here we're missing. Hussars and Halbs finding kills. TC will go down for Sito. Lots of lumberjacks exposed here if Tato could get through. Sito through again. Again, Tato's got castles in the eco. Sito does not. Sito pushing back. I like the inclusion of skirms. It's just he needs more range units. Human skirms are kind of bad, but it's still something. It's still great against Halb and hand cannon. And he's going to find these 2 bomber cannons. Only going to end up killing the one here. But not too bad for Sito. There's red dots everywhere. Tato now has Hussars into the eco. Tato's still over here. And it's a complete grind right now. The villagers are running for their lives everywhere you look. And it's very easy to miss one area and then lose 20, 30 vills. And right now, I'm thinking that Sito has maybe missed this. We're not seeing the garrisons here. So he's dipped down to 98 vills. He also doesn't have any more villagers in queue. Tato did react a bit better to the raids. Maybe because he's used to it, though. Hussars surround the hand cannons. There's skirms and there's Kipchaks here. So Sito will actually kill those expensive hand cannons, too. So that's an amazing find for him. But again, Tato has found wood here. And Tato is a 40 villager lead. And he continues to get kills on the trees. The onager cut might have hurt Sato. He gave Tata the opportunity to run through. Wild. Now, when you kill... This is one of my favorite parts about late game. When you kill 40 vills from someone who had 100 units in queue, those 100 units meet you on the battlefield. So, that army count for Sato is going to be nuts now. It's going to be a 100-plus army. And Tata's going to have defend from that. But if Tato defends from that, then Tato is obviously going to be in the better position economically. And that's kind of the whole point of the matter. You notice how Sato panicked and queued up paladins? That's him thinking, oh god, I need something stronger, and he just queues up a couple. Also, on top of that, still no siege ram push on the left side. So no rams whatsoever, just still army. But, I mean, army's going to find some value. And if they could find value with a siege push, I think that would be the key. You gotta push with siege. Sato adding a lot more vills, but so is Tato. We are not even close to this game finishing. I don't think Sato's army is going to be able to find the kills. Not the kills to even out the vill count. And I think Tato's position is superior. Okay, well, you know what? I'm going to drink some water. I feel like I should pace myself for this. So we're going to do that now. Again, you were here. The militia might even be forgotten. The day of the 3 militia might be something we never even remember. This is going to take a long time. This choke point now, possibly more valuable than left or right side. And Sato has to defend this because it's in the heart of his eco. Look at the difference on food. 37 on food for Sato, 75 on food for Tato. Sato's kind of falling apart here. The hand cannon's a really good choice for Tato with all the halbs that are out there. And also Burgundian hand cannons do more damage than standard hand cannons, so it's good against things like Hussars too. And Tato, slow, methodical. He's held at various points, and he is now pushing. Kipcheck mass getting up there. It's about to go to double digits for the first time in a long time. I think once you get to 20 Kipchecks, Tato will have problems. But that takes time when you're producing them out of one castle. And clearly it's really tough for Sato to pay attention. He's got Kipchecks spread out everywhere right now because Tato just keeps running right through. Crazy. Res collected, by the way. Here it is. Sato still collected way more gold and food. And stone. But score, res collected, none of those things really matter now. Right? This is just about how many villagers do you have, how many production buildings do you have, defensive castles. There have been games where someone's got 1,000 more kills than someone and still loses because the other person's able to hold on. I think the Kipchecks are going to start to turn the tide, guys. There's only 8 here. They're going to do it. Believe in the Kipchecks. And Tato get 2 relics, but he gets gold from his farms. I think it's like you need to have 60 farms. Actually, there's data out there. Can someone give me details? We've got 7,000 people here. Someone's going to give me some numbers to work off of here. I forget what it is. There's I was gonna say what I thought was like common knowledge. Each farm is 1 gold per minute. No, that's not the case. Okay, 30 farms acts as 1 relic. That makes more sense. Yeah. So like 30 farms is like 1 relic. So basically Tato's got like 4-ish relics. Yeah, thank you. Enough people said that. I think that's believable. I was thinking it was 60 farms. It was like, funnily enough, in my mind, I was thinking 45 farms is like 1.5 relics or something. I don't know why that was the number. Kipcheck numbers going up. We have not seen a single siege ram from Sato. He can never push these castles down. These castles are so critical. And he has a castle here, which is actually so far away from his woodline. He should honestly be thinking of, with new farms, to farm back in the south, because... yeah. I always prefer someone who has the castles in the late game. Castles and wood control. And Tata's banking a lot more wood. Tato has a lot more units in queue, and I think Tato's going to win this game. It just might take a long while here. Maybe not, actually. Maybe not. Sato's queue is horrible. He's got 17 on wood. He doesn't have many resources floating. He has maybe 10 units in queue. We might be moments away. Kipchak counts up to 18, so that'll obviously give him the opportunity to survive in whatever area he chooses to send them. But what a game, guys. And can you imagine, like, Sato had opportunities to maybe win this one. He would have been up 3-1 on Tato. What a swing. Then Tato just ties it up and then gets the momentum from the victory. What a hold from Tato. And yeah, I mean, maybe some questions. Could have been Onager earlier. Siege Ram. But people always question the Cumin late game in some ways and how awkward their tech tree is. And I think that was a lot of this here. We saw the strengths of Cumins with their 2 TCs, their forward castle. We also have seen the weakness in many ways. And Tato understood the Civ he was up against. It's his favorite Civ on Hideout, and he gets the job done despite the 3 hero militia from Sato. What a game that was. And Sato, he's going to want that one back. Again, there were opportunities. He was so close. It was like that point in the movie where the person is like hanging on the edge of the ledge with their fingertips, right? And like the boss has like his boot ready to stomp on the person's fingers so the person falls into the abyss. And then somehow Tato was able to wriggle his way out and up back onto the ledge and throw Sato off. It was a crazy game. And Tato got the job done, only collecting more wood. Ultimately, Tato made a lot of trash units. He did not spend as much on gold this game. He went for Haubs. He went for Skirms. Hand cannons. But everything else he spent on gold was just the bomber cannons and Trebs. For Sato, he made Kipchaks. He made Paladins. He made Militia. He made Onager. So Sato collected more gold, but he also spent more gold. And he wasn't necessarily able to have as much success with it. And like, remember when he showed Paladin how awkward it looked? It was like 10 Paladin here, 5 Paladin here. He really needed one big go with Paladin and Trebs on either side. And I think this was the area. And, you know, again, we're going to move on, talk about it, but I don't even know when that happened. Okay, he's on Hussar here, so not there. Nope, not there. Wow, this is a long time ago. Yeah, so like this was about when he moves in with Paladin. At this stage, guys, look at all the gold that's available. He's got gold everywhere, and he could have more relics. I think here is where if you go Siege Ram, or you go Paladins, Kipchaks, 4 Trebs, everything goes down. Everything. He didn't have the siege number. He originally had 4 Trebs in the front, but there was never a point after that where I remember Sato having a decent enough siege to clear things up. He's just sitting on 1 Treb the whole time. So I think that was the concern. And of course, anytime there was siege, Tato would snipe it with the bomber cannon. So Tato, full credit to him, obviously, did a great job. And friends, what a series. All right. What a game. What a series. We'll move on. We have 3 more games, obviously. All right, ladies and gents. For some reason, Capture Age just removed the flags, and we don't like that. So we are going to add these wonderful flags back on screen. All right. France. Perfect. What happened, Capture Age? Tato won the first game in this series. Sato then won 2 straight that Tato responded in the previous game. And what a previous game it was. And here we've got 4 lakes. We've got Tato who's gone for the Georgians here. A new DLC Civ. Might be tempted to do a giveaway of a DLC today. Support's been amazing on the stream. We'll consider it. So maybe you could play with that. Civilization starts with a mule cart. And the mule cart is a drop-off building for wood, stone, and gold. And actually, technically deer, but you don't see any deer carcasses there. I still maintain that does not look like gold. It looks like potatoes. But anyways, this thing can be wheeled around, which is very unique to the game. And you start with one if you're the Georgian, so it leads to your start being pretty fun. Tato's docked up here, which we're going to see a lot of from both, obviously, because of the importance of fish. And then in the very south, we've got Sato going for the Persians. This is Sato's #1 pick against Tato's #2 pick. All right, so they're both going for their big hitters here in terms of civilizations. And I think Persians are just insane on this type of map. First off, their docks get extra HP. Their dock work rate's higher. Their TC work rate's higher. Also on this map, you typically want to spend a lot of food. Spending a lot of food on knights can be strong. So I could see scouts or knights and navy being the plan here for Sito. But oftentimes it's about being very sneaky with your villager. And one of the strategies you can think of is getting a villager up here to dock on Tato's pond. But obviously, you have to know that that's where Tato is located, as Sito will not know that. And this being a 9-villager start, if you're going to push in any deer, you're going to sacrifice a lot of scouting intel here. So I think Tato doing what I prefer on paper, because it's a given that he's going to locate the enemy and get the information that you need to have on this map. So he's going to see this, see the dock, see the villagers not walled in, and Sito quick walls it. That's funny. So that's good. So now Tato has that information. For Sito, he could still gain the information in the right time, but there's no guarantee, right? So just a little bit more of a risk. But for now, he's already getting Loom. He's bringing the Vill as well. And I think Sito's thinking, with where he is, his opponent's either going to be, if you look at my cursor in the minimap, like where Tato is or here. And either way, he's like, based on what I see here, if I can adapt and I can just YOLO and get a dock down, this could be awesome. Now, I said this the other day. I really do not think that on a map where villagers are walking across the map to dock, there should be animals. But Sito dealt with that way better than I did. That could have led to half his HP being gone. And, I mean, Sito's going blind here, and he's just going to walk right to the correct area to dock. This is a huge risk. I guess what you could do, right? Like, let's say you dock and you realize Tato hasn't docked there. You could just add fish. But he's going to find what he's looking for, and the villager had already made the commitment to run across the map. You could have easily walked across the map and not seen anything there. And Tato is maybe going to check with his fishing ship to see if a forward dock comes up. But if a forward dock comes up from Persians, good luck getting it off your pond. And Tato already thinking about diversifying, thankfully for him, because the Persian dock's going to be tough to kill. Tato does not see it. He does not see that dock. It's important for Tato that he sees that as soon as possible, and the fishing ship spotted it. We'll see if Tato notices. So Tato with the barracks. Tato then with the stables. Sito's still checking. He'll see the barracks, which normally indicates a follow-up. Ooh, here Tato was attacking the scout. The villager with the scout, and Sito quickly walled it in. That villager is weak, though, and can't really go back to work easily unless he builds a palisade here. And, oh, Tato is now trapped! The scout in from Sito. So Sito got the scouting intel he wanted, but his scout is now dead, which leads him wondering what Tato's going to be making after the barracks. He doesn't know where Tato's gold is. He doesn't know if Tato is over here as well. That is a huge, huge play for Tato. That is a big deal. But, I mean, he already took a gamble. He already took a risk before he had scouting. And it's going to pay off here. Because Tato, he doesn't have the ability to defend himself here. Not easily, anyways. Of all the maps you're going to see, expect the idle TC time. Expect the players getting housed. Expect the micro to be off. Expect a lot of scrappiness on this one, guys. This is not an easy map to have good performances on. You have the dock production, multi-dock production, and the main eco, and then everything's super open. But this is the dream scenario for Sito. Docking your opponent's pond and killing all the fish. Tato's not even going to make anything to defend. He's just going to straight on give it up. Now, Tato's checking this pond. He's looking, and honestly, it would make sense for him to maybe just stay on patrol there. The players are going to have a tendency, though, to want to move around constantly, and Tato has to defend from a tiger. Again, it's such a weird part of the map. I don't know why. I guess it's not that big a deal because they deal with it, and they both dealt with it, but it is a pet peeve of mine. I'm allowed to speak my mind. And Tato was just here, and he didn't see the villager. And now Sito is just chilling, and Sito is going to dock next to this. And if Tato doesn't see that, he could add fishing ships and lose them. Scouts here from Tato. Sato really concerned about these scouts. The Georgian scouts regenerate HP. It's 5 seconds per minute, so they get stronger. Tato will see the dock, actually. And he's going to look over here now. And he will also see that Sato is docking here. Man, Sato has wandered across the map to 3 separate pawns with no support. And is somehow getting away with it. Did I say 5 seconds a minute? What did I... Wait, okay, I misspoke, apparently. 5 seconds per minute. Okay, what did I say? Did I... Chat, what did I say? Whatever I said apparently was wrong. Anyways, what Sato did here is so high risk, high reward. This villager could be spotted and could have been killed. Gets the reward. This villager could have been spotted and could have been killed. Gets the reward. These villagers could have been spotted and they get rewarded. So, Sato making the moves. And it's worked out for him. Yeah, it's 5 seconds per month. Sorry. I'm still not clear on what I said, to be honest with you. We've got archers and skirms from Sato. Whatever I said was incorrect. If you watch this scout, you're going to see the HP climb. It's going to go up to 7, and it's going to just wow you. Eventually. Okay, there. It just went up to 7. Tato had to get some quick walls down. Awkward times for this villager for him. Sato's work rate on his docks has helped out a lot. It seems like Sato's going to have control over this pond. And villager's going to end up going down. Well played there, Sato. He can maybe fish here soon. Tato, though, has scouts and he has archers. And it just feels like there's been a level of consistency to Tato's play on land, despite everything else. And that's the first eco kill for Tato, though. Actually, here, another tiger is attacking a random villager. And Sato will want to make some fire galleys there, but he needs to defend himself at home. And he's completely off berries for the time being. This army is a small army, but it's an awkward army for Tato to defend from. And it looks like right now, Tato feels like maybe he can't do as much damage here. So he's just going to head over here to kill these vills. He said 5 seconds per minute. It should be 5 HP per minute. Oh, I kept seeing the 5 in the minute, and I was like, I'm right, guys. What are you talking about? Yeah. Okay, so you freaking... You know what I meant. Okay, is 5 HP per minute. Oh my god, Sato's just gonna hide back there. And, well, I mean, he did invest a lot of stone into that. But he also already had the stone for the tower, so that's not too bad. Res collected thus far. Important stat to look for, and Sato has collected more. But it's not that crazy, and army value, of course, is important as well. What army they want to go for in the long run. But I think I prefer Sato's position. He added 3. Well, I'm not sure if I prefer his position, but in terms of the water control, I do prefer his position. And, oh, no! They do not regenerate that fast. That was very un-Tato-like, and Tato loses every single scout. And now his archers are going to be exposed as well. Yeah, we just came out of a 2-hour slog, right? The whole series has been over 2.5 real-time hours. And fatigue could start to set in. What the... Man, what a great job from Sato to keep these vills alive and stay stubborn on the pawns. Seriously insane. These vills would be dead for so many other players. And here he can fish as well. So he's got 2 fishing ships here. He's got the fishing ships at home. He's killing Tato's fishing ships here. He's going to have all 4 pawns, guys. He will have all 4. Now here, it could maybe be a little bit more efficient. He could look around a little bit, but that's just disgusting. Did lose this villager here. So now 11 fishing ships bringing in food. Tato's got 0. The worker count's ridiculous. And Tato doesn't have that army anymore to kill things with. This should be Sato's game from here. And Tato will try what he can, but Sato playing like a god here. And Tato just a couple of misplays. Like there, that demo doesn't do anything. He's just too distracted. And he's maybe thinking, should I move out with the archers? Well, I can't move out with the archers because there's skirms. But if I don't move out with the archers, then I'm going to continue to be behind here. Wild stuff here, guys. Wild. And Sato's going to have the resources to make knights. Tato will make knights faster. These early knights are the most important knights for Tato. So have 2 knights. He still will have the archers. But he's not going to have a ton else. Now, he's going to make a fortified church where you can make monks. So it's the monastery for the Georgians. That does also increase the work rate of the economy in the area. So that will help Tato's eco. But Sato should know that knights are coming. He should make some of his own. He didn't scout this. Like, I'm still mind blown that Sato is able to get 4 pawns when Tato went scouts. Like, if the same game is played a second time, we could easily see all of Sato's villagers just get sniped. And I'm just like, why are you not scouting at first, you know? He took some risks here. But the thing was, he was always making moves. And the second Persians get their docks up on your pond on 4 lakes, you're in trouble. 17 fishing ships for Sato. Wild. And again, you're probably curious on res collected. There's the difference now. Remember, Tato chose Persians number 1. He lost with Persians on that migration game. And Tato also, Georgians is his number 2 pick. Not saying he can't win the series, but he has to win 2 straight, and he's not going to have his top civs anymore. And there, that monk going to go down. I did miss if a conversion came in or not, so I'm checking to see the armor. Conversion did come in, so there was 2 knights originally. And it will be really difficult for Tato to ever punish Sato now. Sato's got the stronger knights because of the armor. The only positive I can say for Tato is that he at least has monks which can deal with the camels and the knights pretty easily. Would be an amazing comeback for Tato. And you can't push. You can't counter now. You just have to hope for defense and that Sato doesn't do what he has to do behind this. Now Sato happily takes the monk, sees the next monk, and will back away for now. And goes for light cav, which makes perfect sense, because you don't want to keep running in towards monks without light cav. Again, scores 2-2. This is a best of 7, which is a little bit unique for quarters, so there might be some people starting to worry for Tato. It obviously will be rough for him if he loses this game, but it's not over. He would have to win 2 straight, but it's more than doable for a player like him. 3rd TC now for Sato. Remember, Persian TCs work faster. There's no catching up in the boom. So it's a fish boom on all 4 pawns, and then faster working TCs. Versus the efficiency aspect of the fortified church, of which Tato has 2. A lot of players get stubborn. They just make YOLO knights anyways if they're Sato, and then they might run into 4 or 5 monks, lose all the knights, and then maybe that starts to snowball for Tato. But Sato's just going to add the light cav now. And he's looking around with knights to maybe find some damage. Tato should know now this game is lost. Like, in his mind, the last couple minutes, he should see the score and realize, I got to give it my best shot. But ultimately, like, if I win this game from here, it's just a ridiculous comeback. Sato has already done so much. And Sato's light cav loop in to kill the monks. Gonna see another monk here. And that's gonna be another monk dead. Camels will finish the job. But Tato, oh my god. Okay, finally gets a conversion. Still, so much went down. Knights were over here at the same time. Light cav underneath the farm. Sato's all over him. And Tato's an incredible player, but Sato is no slouch, guys. Res Collected's getting worse. It is only getting worse. And I think is building up towards a forward castle from Sato. Well, Sato will probably look to control this hill. The fortified churches do shoot arrows, but it's not a considerable amount of arrows. So I could see just a bit more army from Sato and 10 villagers or 12 villagers to drop a castle there. Could possibly force Tato to back out there. Sato deletes the knight. That's what you should do there. Because Tato is only going to aim to convert the knight, and the light cav's weak, so he continues to run away. Sato is playing so good here. And light cav goes down. This would be the moment. Put Tato out of his misery. Take us to the 6th game. I love what Sato's doing here. Especially because Persians can be a little awkward in Imp. So you want to get a big lead, an even bigger lead here in Castle Age. Not much Tato can do about this, except hope to convert the units that are coming in. And Sito is bringing his own monks forward so he can convert the units right back. And here come the villagers for Sito. And he sees the TC. He might choose to just castle behind the TC. No, he's going to castle the hill. And that's a very low-risk castle that will absolutely go up. He brought enough villagers for it. It'll deny Tato's stone income. Take out Tato's new town center. And Tato can't realistically engage without losing his units to conversions. And behind it, Sito has the resources to go to the Imperial Age. And that would mean trebuchets as well. This is the moment for Tato. You give up this area, and you try and counterattack. And you hope that Sito having his army forward gets punished. I don't think I tap out here yet if I'm Tato either. It's a long series. There's a lot of pressure. I've said it before. It's easier for me, and I have a lot more experience losing than Tato does, okay? It's better for you to find out, like, to fully think about what went wrong, what could have gone differently, all that stuff while you're in this game and dying. And it is for your mind to still be on it in the lobby before you launch the next game. So if you fight, he's known he's dead for a while. You just keep fighting for a bit longer. Keep giving it your best shot. Get it all out of your system, so to speak. And I think once Imp is in, he'll find out if he doesn't already know he's probably dead. And that's probably when you end up tapping. Now, if this was ACCM or Yo, they would lose all their TCs to Trebs, and they'd still be huddling in the corner thinking they had a chance. You know, those two players take it to different extremes these days. But, yeah, this is... The Tato's counterattack did do some damage. It was a nice effort. It's still an eco lead for Sito, and Sito has 2 castles on top of TCs. That will make trebuchets soon, and that's probably when Tato will have to call it. But, like, to reiterate, crazy to me that Sito just YOLO'd to the correct pond and then YOLO'd to the left and the right. Like, he was extremely fortunate to get there, and when he got there, he did everything he needed to do. I think Tato's feudal army that he lost was the one thing that maybe gave him a little bit of momentum. Remember when he lost that army here, but there it is. Sito goes up 3-2 here. Sito was not the favorite coming into this series, but the storyline on Sito is he's been getting really good. I mean, he has been good the last couple of years. It feels like he's becoming more and more complete. We watched him in Titans League, for example, start off in gold, struggle to get promoted, then finally get promoted to plat, get back into it. Then you're seeing him on mixed maps now against Tato, getting the job done. He was close to winning the previous game, and had he won that, he would have just won the series, but he needs one more win of the next 2 games to go into the semifinal here. Sito really on point today. And I really like his Civ selection, too. I said that before. Like, Persians here made a lot of sense. Italians on migration where he got his win. I like that, too. Of course, I liked some of the picks as well when he lost. But Tato will struggle, I think, with options Civ-wise, at least on paper, because he does not have his top Civs remaining anymore. 55 to 38 KD there for Sito. Again, the eco was monstrous. That was the very first pick for Sito. Tato also had Persians, but Tato had lost with Persians in a prior game. So Sito found the spot to use them, and Tato could not. All right, hey, folks, we are here, Game 6, and it is enclosed, and we had this exact Civ matchup in the Jordan versus Yo series, and Jordan dominated with the Slavs. Franks are good, right? Sito will have the luxury of having seen that series between Yo and Jordan, and so he could probably think, this is what Yo could have done differently. This is what I will do differently. This is how we change this or that. But both Civs have fantastic farms, but it is Slav farms that farm faster. And it feels like the Boyar is the go-to unit, the unique unit for the Slavs. It's like a big, mobile Teutonic Knight. Tons of melee armor, which helps against the enemy knights. It's not too shabby against enemy infantry either. And that's kind of the weakness of the Franks. Like, Franks, if they're not going knights, and they're not going with halbs or axemen combined with their knights, there's not really playing towards their bonuses. And I feel like you need to play into something other than just stable units here in this matchup. Now, this map is a lot more complicated than Hideout, okay? So, like, let's say you're a closed map player, okay? We're going to go through this whole progression. Let's say you're a closed map player, but it's your dream to become an open map player. Because I think we know a lot of closed map players would never get close to certain maps, and they're just never going to play them. But, okay, so you start off on Arena, right? You start off with the stone walls. And you play on the stone walls for a year or two. Then you're like, oh, okay, I'm seeing these people make some armies. That looks pretty fun, but stone walls, very nice for me. I want some help. Well, then you would move on to Hideout, which we saw earlier in this series. You still have walls, but it's palisade walls, so it's still protection, right? Okay, so you move on to Hideout, and then you're feeling really bold after a year or two. Still scared of the outside world, but you're like, okay, I think I might want to learn to build my own walls. Then you end up here on Enclosed. And then, you know, you play for another year or two on Enclosed, and then you move on, and then maybe you're playing on, like, big Woodline Arabia, and then it's, like, tiny Woodline Arabia, and then you're playing Atacama, there's no wood everywhere, and you're a massive nerd. That's the progression. I don't know where I am on that cycle, to be honest with you, but my point here is it is closed, but you have to do more work than you do on Hideout because you have to access the gold. And I found the gold generations to be extremely awkward on this map. Like, this gold sucks for Tato because it's on a hill. It's, like, kind of far away. And remember, you can't wall on this stone here. So players are going to have to make army to protect themselves here. Now, Sato is going to be in Feudal Age a bit faster. And he doesn't know this, of course. But he still wants to hang around Tato. And Frank Scouts also have more HP when they reach the next stage. So this could be a good opportunity for Sato. This very same thing happened to Tato in another game recently. And I could predict what he's going to do. It's really smart. So if your opponent hits Feudal first, you don't just want to run if you have the skill. What you want to do is you want to hit and run. That way you're still doing damage to them. It might be less damage, but watch this. Okay, so we might only just see like one hit. Obviously, Sato gets the extra attack and HP. Tato's almost in Feudal. Hit. Well, I mean... Okay, so here's going to be the example. Hit and run. Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah, that's what you do. And now you're in the next stage. And now the HP is 20 to 18 instead of something that could be worse for you. So that's really smart. And good job from Sato there to track that as well. So yeah, like for the time being, they're just going to be they're just going to be farming away. Actually, Tato didn't even go for his berries. Tato's taking no risks. Franks do have a forage bonus, so it makes sense for the Franks to take the risk, but all of Tato's eco is just going to be in this tiny little area. And he's going to wall up, and so the scouts for Sato won't be able to offer anything offensively. Boink! Big poke there from Tato. Very well played. And, you know, Slav farms farm faster, so he's thinking I should be fine with just farms. But it is still interesting, because I think he certainly got the skill to still take the berries as well. Tato needs this win, though, right? And eventually, they will branch out to gold. Now, what happens when lots of scouts are made? Typically, you see lots of spearmen, and that's what's going to make people think about going to gold to maybe make archers. And wow, we have Sato going to gold very early. Like, way earlier than I would have thought. You know what's nice? Tato doesn't need defensive spears now. He can actually use the spearmen as part of the rush, because he doesn't need to account for the potential of a counterattack. I like that from Tato. And of course, Sato's a little bit exposed, so it could force some reactions from Sato. And even if Tato doesn't kill anything here, which he still might, if Sato makes too much army, if Sato misclicks, if Sato, you know, has something go wrong, could lead to some benefits for Tato later on. I think Sato's just going to make just enough army to hold this. Having scouts is still good for him because eventually Tato needs to come out to the gold. Yeah, that's true. Tato doesn't have Loom because he hasn't left his base yet. That is something he's going to have to think about. I think he might think about it soon because he's going to leave his base in a moment. I did want to check res collected. And res collected, Tato's collected more, but it's due to the wood, not the food. So, say what you want about that. Does have one more villager. But, you know, Tato doesn't know about the gold being mined right now. So he's not expecting the archers to come out so soon for Sato. And I like the archers coming out right now because I think it starts to flow the direction it did for Yo if you don't. Which is, you're stuck on cav and spears, and Slavs are doing the same, and then eventually this turns into bowyars against that, and then you're in trouble. Couple archers in the mix right now turns it into a different game. Thank you, Alex Gaming. Thank you, Harza. Thank you, Ledger. Ikaneko. Thank you, everyone, for the new subs. We just crossed 4,500 subs 2 weeks back. Thank you, everybody. Support's been wild. Hope people have been enjoying the show. I also know there's lurkers out there, or VOD watchers, or video watchers later. Hope you guys enjoy as well. Game just slowed down for me. Just weird. And there we go. Tato's collecting, or Tato's getting loom. And again, the lag is super weird, guys. This isn't me. And, okay, there must be, like, a pause up ahead of us. There's a spec delay. This is weird. Is someone's PC melting? What? Feels like PC lag to me if I've ever seen it. Okay. Oh, whoa. Someone said my game is lagging too. All games are lagging. I don't know if your game lagging necessarily means these guys are lagging, but this is weird. So maybe there's a server problem? I mean, my guess is in about 30 to 40 seconds, they're going to say something because we are 2 minutes behind by default because of the spec delay. This only happens if the players are experiencing it. We don't get to avoid what the players experience, so that was odd. Here come the archers. Tato needs a tower, and this timing's critical. And Tato out of position right now with his spearmen and with his scouts. He just moved a little bit too far away from this. As Sato might take this opportunity to try and take the fight. If the spearmen were there, the scouts never get close, and the tower could never be denied. There's potential here for Sato. And the tower's going to go up for Tato in the end, though. The spearman from Tato could be pulled away, and the timing for Tato actually wasn't too bad there. He did lose one villager, but the tower was critical. And Sato now can't really find any damage otherwise, right? If you're too close to the tower, you lose your archers and your spearmen. So I think could have been better for Tato, but also could have been way worse for him. I think both players will be fairly okay with that. And both players will think about Castle Age. So it looks like things are fine now. Guangus is speaking for the lurkers. Is there a platform to watch all your old community games? So if you want to watch community games from the last 6 months, you could go to my Facebook and watch the VODs there for anyone that says community games. It'd be a bit of a mess to sort through. But ones that didn't hit YouTube, you could find there. Otherwise, they're just all over the YouTube channel. There's still hundreds of them there. Going forward, like next Friday, I will be doing community games, and here's a pause, so maybe it has something to do with lag. Going forward, I'm obviously back on Twitch now. Next Friday, community games return. So, you know, if you make it, you make it. If not, you can watch the VOD on Twitch, and then the best stuff hits YouTube. So,
yes.
Okay, lagging, yes. Let's wait a sec, I guess. Yep, maybe server issue. Let's try. Question mark, yes. Okay, so they're dealing with the lag. So they paused, you know, maybe they're trying to decide on what to do. Sometimes what you do is just restore it. But the most important thing you do in these moments, and it's a step that many people often forget, is you say thanks DE. Maybe the servers, I don't know, like is Age of Empires 4 getting a lot of traction right now because of the new DLC? Maybe a lot of more players there. I don't know. Maybe some extra load on the servers. Whatever hamsters are running on the wheel weren't fed this morning. I don't know.
Yes.
If you're 2 minutes behind with spec delay, can you not just speed the game to catch up? No, that's not how spec delay works. If the spec delay allowed you to zoom past the delay, it wouldn't be a spec delay. The zooming up that you're probably familiar with is what happens when the game ends. So once the game concludes, then it allows you to speed up. I think that was, unfortunately for Sato, a little bit of lag there. But we are back. And, all right. Good quick walls there from Sato. He really needed it. Holy crap. Tato's scouts were on the prowl there. Tato now, of course, knows Sato has been on that gold for a while due to the archers. So, guys, Sato has tried to make it different. He's tried to play into archers. I'm not certain, though, that really done what he wants here. You see Tato's collected more of the food. And at the end of the day, Sato is probably just going to be back on stable units because it's what makes the most sense. He does have a ton of spears. Some in offense, some on defense. So that's been good for him. And he forced a tower from Tato, which means Tato, who... Ooh, interesting. Tato, hello? I don't think Tato wants to take this fight. I think that was just Tato losing focus. Or maybe the lag, I don't know. But he did kill both the scouts. So I don't know. But anyways, Tato can't build the second TC unless he buys stone. Something I think he'll do because he already has the market. But Sato's basically thinking, with two stables and my opponent not being walled and having a tower here and not being able to build a TC, he's going to dive that with his knights here. So we could see the archers and spears combined with the knights underneath that gold soon. And Tato's just got to be really careful. And second TC comes up immediately here for Sato. Will Tato take us to the next game? Would be on border dispute. Now for information, there's indeed more players in AW4 with the DLC, around double than usual. But we're completely out of the peak. Got it. Okay. Well, it's all right. Listen, I have a very easy job of just being like, complain because there's lag. That sucks, and that's it. You know, I don't know the details, so... We'll see. I'm sure it's... hopefully it's fine now, and sometimes there'll be an issue here or there, and then it irons itself out. In general, the servers are pretty good. Pikeman upgrade for Sato. Sato bringing the knights in. Tato has a monk coming out of the monastery. Still no second TC for Tato. Now, Tato won't actually want to use the monk against a pikeman or an archer here. He wants that monk to be used against a knight, and you could tell Sato now, it's like, crap. I guess that's not going to be it. And if that's not going to be it, guess what's going to happen? Tato's going to buy a little bit of stone. He's going to drop his second TC. This game's going to go late. And in late game, many people feel like the Slavs are superior to the Franks. I still think the Franks can be played a bit differently than what we've seen in the past from them. I think you could still go into knights, still go into pikes, but maybe combine with hand cannons later on. Something the Slavs don't get access to. Tato sends some of his units forward now. Sato maybe looking around for resources with these knights. He's looking for a gold maybe to town center. Kind of interesting how he didn't TC on this gold. He wanted the wood, which is something that he kind of already has here. It does make sense to ideally have TCs next to wood and gold, though. That's your top common approach. Here comes Sato in to potentially deny the TC, but Tato was waiting with his monk. Great reaction there from Tato, and smart from him to have that monastery. As he now shows up here, and ooh, you know, there's been a couple moments over the last game and a half where Tato's run in some armies into situations you wouldn't expect. The previous game had an instance where he lost all of his army, so there's a good reaction from Tato. Also, shout out to that random Komodo dragon that's here. Very angry at something. I don't know where they came from, man, but they're angry at the world. I would be too if that was that ugly. Look at that. That's pretty cool, though, to be honest with you. I mean, what if you could... Next DLC, guys, we're going to be able to train Komodo dragons with a Civ. Just wait. I just gave the devs the idea. Lycav coming in this way. Villagers getting sniped. That's the first villager kill for Tato. Lots of mobility, though, and lots of reacting needed for Sato. He did lose one more Vill. Total worker count's higher for Sato here. Slav farms should be pretty good here, though. So I'm going to eventually have my overlay changed to have this on screen, because I think a lot of people really like that. But I will toggle to it for now. Tato's collected 1,000 more resources. T9 wishes he was a lizard. Did I not automatically turn into a lizard when I was on Facebook for 2 years? I thought that's what that meant. Okay. House walling now. Monk is here to potentially get a conversion. Archers want to kill the monk. Monk will maybe go down here. Oh, the knight can't get through. And wait, did it die? No, the monk's right there. Beautiful play from Tato. And he's got enough knights to clear up these pikes. These pikes are pretty weak from before. Plus, the knights have nice upgrades. And we arrived at the position we thought we would. Look at those pikemen. That's a funny spot. Zato's getting such good value from these, but still gonna end up losing them without killing anything. 3 TCs for one player, 3 TCs for the other. I think we'll see the 4th soon. This will be a big boom game. They're pretty far apart from each other. Tato also has 2 relics. Could maybe get the 4th because he's bringing in the 3rd now too. Such a good job from Tato with this cav control. Did you see the moonwalk on the light cav? And Tato also has had husbandry, which is an upgrade Sato didn't have, which is what hurt Sato's ability to win some of these fights. Tato, he's on the ball here. He's paying attention. He will actually not get a conversion there. Loses the monk. Another random Komodo dragon. Is this the same Komodo dragon as before? Look at that. Look at him waddle, dude. I'm sorry. That's how unprofessional of me. Imagine some big sponsors coming in thinking about coming back to Age of Empires 2. They're like, oh, let's check out this guy. A lot of people showed up. And then I'm just like, look at that waddle. They're like, we can't advertise for this. Never mind. We're out of here. The monk died there. Sato just lost the monk to the 3 light cav from Tato. And Tato's just going to wisely run away from the pikes. Meanwhile, Sato still trying to protect this relic. Tato's got 3 already, so that's the last one. Light cav actually run into the eco. I don't know if Tato intended to do that, but there's a lot of things happening now. 74 villagers for both, so Tato's caught up. And Tato's monk is going to go down, as expected, but still has the 3 relics, so you feel a bit better about things if you're Tato. KD 25-17 for Tato. And now you have to start thinking really hard if you're the Franks. How do I stop the Slavs if they get into Boyar? And I think the answer, and that's even if Tato wants to go Boyar, Tato could also just go Knights, and he could just go Pikes. He's got quite a few Pikes. You also have cheaper Siege with the Slavs. Tato's coming forward with villagers, and I love this. Because it's not what Sato's thinking. Sato's thinking like, okay, what do I do in Imp? Tato might go all in Castle Age. Now, viewers can tell me how long they've been watching me. I think for a lot of people, it's probably, at the very least, like 2020 and beyond. So 2018-ish, so it was pre-Definitive Edition, maybe 2018 to early 2019. The Slavs had the fast farms like they do now. And they were one of the best all-in Castle Age civilizations, because you had the cheap siege, and then you had the good pikes, and then you had the solid enough knights. And so what players would do is they'd just go, they'd get to like 100 vills, and it's 4 stables, 4 barracks, full knights, full pikes, full rams. And this is taking me back right now. Many of you guys, this might not feel like the old meta for you. Because these days, if you think about majority of players are just going for like a defensive castle and then up to Imp. This is a big army play from Tato. And it's going to be the same army for Sato, only he doesn't have as much of it. And Tato's going to have siege, and Tato's going to walk forward, and Tato's going to build a castle on top of it, and then he can make the boyars as well. And I said it after the previous game. Do not worry for Tato. He still has Slavs for enclosed, and he's got a decent enough civilization waiting for the final game as well. The GG's called. The series is tied. What a great quarterfinal. And it will be Border Dispute Game 7. Like I thought it could. It's just, it felt like there was never a doubt. Sato's playing amazing, but it's still Tato, man. So it'll all come down to one game to see who goes into the semis. A really tough matchup for Sito. I would love to look at this and tell Sito he needed to do things differently, but I think if you go too wild with it, you are not going to have success. He did what he could. It was the spearmen and the archers. He forced a Tato tower. He forced reactions, but Slavs and Tato, just too good here against the Franks. It's like, the Slavs are a better farming civ, and they're maybe not the better cav pike civ, but they're good enough to match up nicely. Like, they've got better monks, they've got better halbs, they've got the siege. So scores 3-3, folks. And there was the res collected for you, but that was just Tato taking low-risk approach with the farms early. And he did not hesitate there to go aggressive. He didn't have to. Like, he could have gone defensive castle thinking his civ was stronger. I like what he did there. And not much more I can say Sito really could do there, in all honesty. So, we'll move to Game 7 then. Here we are, Game 7. Sito is going to be changed to blue. Sorry, they aren't playing the colors that sync with their flags. And we've got border dispute here. And two civilizations that I think are so similar. And what a fun matchup. You've got the Japanese, who are very flexible with the cheaper lumber camps, mining camps, mills, and what have you. So that gives them the edge in terms of building the buildings early. Their infantry strong as well, because it attacks faster in each age. Their archers are solid. Their navy's solid, which will play its role, sort of, kind of. And then the flip side of things, you have the Malay infantry and archer bonuses, right? They don't have wood savings like the Japanese do, but the Malay do have the faster age ups, which can give them the timings. And when you're this close, having the Malay might be preferred because a slightly faster castle age could maybe snowball things. Now, aspects of this map I need to point out that are all very important and become relevant later on when I might not have time to break it down. You've got the 4 fish in the middle, okay? So 4 fish in the middle. This, we've seen some players dock, believe it or not. And you could use that dock to make navy, or like a demo or two, to maybe blow up enemy army later on. Okay, so you have that. You have the gold, which is oftentimes like right at the bottom of the hill beyond the player's TC. The wood, the berries, the stone. But then the extra hunt, guys. If I were to guess, I would say Tato's going to be the player that would maybe utilize this more than Sito here. These villagers spread out all around, or not villagers, they're deer. But maybe, I don't know, Halloween just passed. Maybe it's a couple of villagers dressed as deer. Point is, that's an aspect of the map that you can't forget about. But while there are aspects of gold spread out throughout the map, if you lose the 2 golds, you're screwed. Because these little 2-tile areas of gold, that's going to help, but that's not going to make up for losing the other areas of gold. We've got Sito on the way up already. Both players want a spot in that semifinal. And I said it during the break. Say it again for the VOD watchers later. If you think Tato has enough to win a final, and I think a lot of people think that about him, then you should think the same about Sito if he's able to get the job done here. Really fast uptime here from Sito. Like, he's not going to be faster than the Malay, but he's got the militia out. And this is a strategy he invented. Everyone calls it the Frush, the French Drush. Drush is Dark Age Rush. Sito started this, and all his little French... Like, the next generation of like, top 100 players are all doing this crap still. It stresses me out. But it's a lot of pressure early. The idea is minimal investment, fast timings. And we won't see men-at-arms at all here for Sito. That's not a flush, because that's actually what people would call archers in the past. I think people, these days, if you're playing a team game and you say, what strat are you going for? They'll just say arch instead of flush, but the walls come in from Tato, and Tato scalded it, right? And the big thing about this is you kind of want to force some reactions, but I wouldn't say this is that big of a deal. This villager is bugged? No, she just has misclicked. Okay. So Tato wants to go for archers here. Makes it to the next stage. It's going to drop this range. But look at the timing from Sito. Sito already has his first archer on the way. This is all because his lumber camps, his mills, his mining camps were so cheap. There's no way that Sito came in here and just figured this out. This tournament's a 9-ville start. It's a bit different. He definitely practiced some builds here. And Japanese was his second pick, so he might feel like there's no way Japanese can be stopped. I could see having confidence in this type of timing here, especially with Sato's playstyle, which is so range unit oriented. No, that's actually not even true half the time with Sato. That's what's been so impressive, is like he can play with all types of different units. But the Malay have that eco lead because they spent less time advancing to the next age. If Sato doesn't find kills because he has one more range unit, that's what it comes down to. One more range unit with the militia. Then advantage Tato, I'd say, as far as the civs are concerned. Tato using the starting scout on Sato's villager. He knows Sato will pull more vills. Tato then doesn't have his scout where he wants it to be. I could see Town Watch coming in for Tato, but resources are really at the limit. No one considering the shorefish here. You can't build in the middle, so you'd actually have to dock to take the shorefish, which is a pretty big investment. And here comes the archer, the skirm, the militia. And the militia are on the way. Tower from Tato already up, though. I like how we showed that from Sato's perspective. I mainly did it because I didn't notice Tato had made the tower, but that's Tato predicting he could have problems here. And in a ranged unit war, you're okay if you get pushed off gold, as long as you just save 50 gold for fletching. Because you're going to be making skirms. Now, oh, this is an important moment. Look at this. So Sato checks, right? He's like, did you send your archers out? I'm going to go back. I know it's important, but watch this. Okay. So Sato... So there's no flag, right? Sato goes to check this. Sees the flag. That timing's insane. Because Tato just had created a skirm. So as far as Sato knows, and now I have to speed up, and now it gets awkward. Tato is still has all of his army in that range, and Tato is not counterattacking right now. Critical timings here, because if Sato didn't see the flag, in fact, he even sees 2 skirms now, so he might get paranoid. But if he didn't see the flag, then he would know that he needs to defend himself. But he does not know that, and Tato is here, and that is one of the most epic little moves you're going to see this entire series, this entire day. That was so well played from Tato. I think Sato still sensed something could happen when he only saw 2 skirms, because Tato should have had more army than that. But, you know, he just didn't quite have the time to react with everything. Had such a good job from Tato to defend and then counterattack. And Tato actually lost a farm there. Farms will have 1 HP when you place the foundation, so Sato eliminates 60 wood from Tato. And he's still keeping Tato off gold, but Tato had enough gold for fletching. And so now an eco lead for Tato. And oh god, anyone else starting to think about the hideout game now? And the paladin and the 3 militia and the lack of like onager, siege ram. I'm even casting now. And I'm thinking about what could or should have been in previous games, and that's what could happen for players. Oh no, Sato's looking, guys. He's looking for the army. He still doesn't want to leave Tato alone, and Tato shows up with another another attempt at killing villagers. It's the same force as before. Good awareness there from Sato. Kills the scout. Ultimately backs away. Okay, so this is where things become really complicated from here on out for the Japanese. You've used your flexibility. Yeah, you're going to make new lumber camps and mining camps eventually, but that is pretty much gone. And then the Malay advance faster to the next stage. So even if you both go without killing a single villager in a game, you're still worried if you're Japanese because you're going to be later to the next stage in theory. Sato's micro has been really good here. I like how Tato's added the spears just to try and snipe that starting scout, which is really valuable. But yeah, like I'm concerned for Sato because he could be later to the castle age because the Malay advanced so quickly. But yet again, something he's so good at, he uses the market and he understood, like, I am going to die in this matchup if I don't get up fast. And he's going to somehow make his way up. It's really incredible. And that gives him a chance. Also, the dock in the middle, villagers on shorefish bring you a lot of food. He brought in 300 food over the last few minutes just from that. And the starting scout still could help against skirms. Compliment Sato, but also compliment Tato on saving these archers. That was impressive. Worrying times for Tato if he knows Sito is up. I think this lower score for Sito should tell him. So Tato's going to use his own market. And, you know, just thinking about things, it feels like regardless of where you go, you're going to find some damage if you're Sito. Like, here, well, it's kind of hard to sit here. Well, here's the most obvious spot to hit, because the wood line's towered. But even here, you can sit behind the wood line, you can sit behind the golds. So I was thinking maybe Tato would want to buy a tower. Nice micro again from Sito's scout there. That scout could be important, but... You know, Tato might buy the tower if he doesn't see the army here from Sito. Oh, man, a little sloppy. Sito loses his third villager. And you notice this, right? Archer, skirms to defend, archers to counterattack. He's had to fight all of his instincts to try and keep his eco alive. But keep the archers in the group, so he definitely wins the fight. He had to fight that. Because he will lose otherwise. Oh, and the archers are going to find kills. Tato's over here for stone. And what a nice counterattack from Sito. And now he's in Castle Age faster than the melee. And he's going for elite skirm, and he's going for bodkin arrow. And that is more than enough value on the archers. Precisely what he would have wanted. Interesting decision from Tato to go out there for stone. I think he did it because Sito was over here before. And so he thought the stone over here would be vulnerable. It does look a bit bad from our perspective, but I think that's the reasoning. I would have liked to see an outpost there from Tato. I love this from Sito. One skirm on stand ground. That'll attack every single villager and idle things. And he's going to have elite skirm. Still hasn't been able to find Tato, though. Tato's so freaking sneaky. And that Town Watch upgrade from Sito is not because he got pop capped and just wanted to research something. He needs vision. And he probably feels as though can't do much more here. Villager, runaway Vill, dead. Oh man, but Town Watch is in. And oh, Sito. This just gives the people vision to watch the slaughter. Such a frustrating moment for Sito. He's going siege on the front, which is great. But these skirms were still looking for this army, and he just lost track of it. And that could come down to focusing on his offensive army. And here he runs into the TC a little bit. And Tato, again, with an eco lead, has taken Sito off of wood and gold almost in full here. That's a lot of idle time. And will Tato know about the siege? He doesn't know about it. Tato doesn't actually have Town Watch. And I think he might actually get vision on that with Town Watch. He's going to find out, like, one of the best ways that the opponent's gone for siege. But Tato doesn't have wood for a siege workshop just yet. Because he dropped the town center instead. But if I had to pick a civ in the matchup, from Feudal Age and beyond, it is always melee. Sito was hoping that his 2 militia, his Frush, would have done more. And it's the same old story, melee. Advance faster to the Imperial Age if we get there. More villagers for Tato to work with. And Tato continues to be so evasive with this army. Like, his micro has been incredible. Sito's not going to lose track of this one, though. He knows what'll happen if he does. But Tato's on the hill, right? So Tato's doing a bit more damage. Fight's pretty close in terms of HP. Maybe it'll be an even trade. I think Sito has more skirms, so he should be fine, and Tato just runs away. Now, I love what Sito did here. Like, well, I do and I don't. So I feel like Sito could have pushed this tower and taken Tato off of gold. But if you don't do that, going up on the hill above the TC is the next best thing. And guys, look how many mangonels he has. Like, he is very small skirm army, and it's just mangonels. So honestly, if there's ever a time for Tato to make a knight, this would be it. But Tato's eco is a mess. Look at his wood eco now. If Sito can get good mangonel trades, this could be something he can stabilize from. Tato's going to skirmisher counterattack, though. Of course he is. And that's going to make things awkward. And a big headshot there from Tato. I mean, it's not like Sito wasn't paying attention. Attack rounds are needed. Repairs are needed as well. There's no villagers near this for Sito. And he gets rocked. That hurts. It literally gets rocked. Here he's mining rocks and is also getting attacked. But because this isn't near the siege workshop, you don't have a villager to repair your siege at all, which Tato can always do. And Tato's going to add a stable, too. Malay get cheap elephants. It could be an elephant, or it could still be a knight. 1-for-1 trade is fine for Tato to take. And here he's still camping, but he's got the eco lead. He's making a knight. Sato knows it'll be over, and Sato taps out. You gotta feel for Sato. But Tato holds on. He saw the militia early, but I think the biggest play from him was that nifty little move with the skirmisher in the range and the archers out of it. Guys, that's the type of detail that gets me pumped about this game. So I hope you're happy that you witnessed that. That was brilliant. So I'm going to show it again. Because, like, you know, Sato had some nice momentum. Sato had Tato off of gold. And Sato was threatening in a way. But Tato knew he had to find a way to counterattack. Let me show this to you again. This was amazing. Like, and I don't really know if Tato timed it. I don't know if he looked at this skirm and said that the timing was going to be perfect. But just to show it from Sato's perspective, you have the aggression, you have more army. You're exposed at home, but you want to have enough army to threaten your opponent all the time. He knew he had the range units faster than Tato, so he's like, okay, I need to check and see if there's a flag there. So he thinks about it because he's a brilliant player, and he sees the flag. But that could be 1 unit, or that could be 10 units. The archers had already snuck out. Look at it from Tato's perspective now. Yeah, and for those of you that already saw it and appreciated it, sorry to show it again, but this is Tato now, right? And so from Tato's perspective, the timing's just so good. Archers leave, and probably a little bit of luck. And then Sato comes over, and Sato sees flag. So Sato had no clue that counterattack was coming. Like, I think Sato was thinking maybe he's vulnerable here. He did have 2 skirms at home still, but never thought about this. And that's where the snowball started. Tato did that twice then. He also had skirmishers come into the back of the eco. And it was a brilliant series from Tato. My salutes go out to Sato. Everyone who has a sub should be saluting him right now because it was an excellent series. And Sato is growing as a player. This is a mixed map tournament. And he took Tato to the final game. Could have won the series if things would have gone slightly differently at times. So, well played to Sato. He had an amazing performance. Especially considering in the group stage, in the group stage, he had lost the first 2 rounds and had to win 3 rounds in a row to even make it out of groups. So, you know, Tato's a tough nut to crack. Tato moves on to the semifinal. Well played to Tati. KD did it all, and ultimately, I think Malay always a bit better in that matchup if they survive early. More wood, more food, more gold collected, and more stone. Well played, Tato, there with the 10 stones. So, once again, viewers who watch later on YouTube, thank you for watching. The series, they've all been phenomenal. I, myself, will unfortunately not be casting the semis, but we will have one more quarter after this. It'll be the Viper versus Veleza. I will be covering that. I'll be missing the semis as I'll be away. But the final will eventually come hit YouTube as well. So I encourage you to keep an eye out for the uploads, and hopefully the games are good. But man, like the Yo Jordan quarter and now the Tato Sato quarterfinal has just been insane. These guys are playing amazing. So I really enjoyed it.